morning/afternoon. Welcome back to the Saturday Ironheart Merchant Company, Session 43, A Fortress of Carmon, Part 1. I know what you're thinking. What happened to the Holy War? Well, Saturday, last time they left off, decided they did not want anything to do with that Holy War, and it would be better to move on and to instead take downtime. Thus, with last time, the party having managed to really deal with the aftermath of, slight aftermath of what Monster Monday had done, and deciding instead to retreat back up towards Hrim Purser's last hold, the party would take the tunnel through Knighton and end up going to Velcomen, where they would spend most of the session kind of, dealing with the siege, if you will, the attack, as they saw the city of Hrim Purser's last hold had been pushed, bodies everywhere, soldiers fighting, and really not the greatest sign of the battles that were going on. Though with that, the party decided instead to go sign on with the captain and end up working with him, deciding from there to take downtime instead of heading back to Knighton to go deal with the quest that they had not technically signed up for, but had taken the advertisement for an interest. Sadly, they did not go and do the supply depot quest. In the end, the party instead took a 6-month downtime, with Rollman spending a majority of it training and practicing a beautiful and glorious dance as he would do his day-to-day training. Cinder mostly spending his time helping James work on this hammer that he was creating, as well as a few minor things of his own interest and gathering information on. James would spend a good portion of his time also crafting, managing to fulfill and create an item of legendary status, a +4 item, what is basically an equivalent to a much higher capability full blade. For those who don't know, we'll be describing it later. But, as James would also manage to finish his hammer, gathering a bit of information and doing what he can, the party would also manage to offload the majority of their goods that they had gathered through really the last, 6 months, technically. Well, last month, rather, of work and travel. But 6 months in total since you had done the last major offload. Even managing to travel to Greg's Maritim's lands to sell him a Golden Moby, as we've decided to coin it, as well as a few other items, gaining the party a huge amount of favor, a minor fiefdom, and a good chunk of coin and materials. With that, the party would decide to continue on their adventure. Now, out of character, they had decided that they wanted to go anywhere but where the other two parties were, and so with that, they decided to head to the Fortress of Carmon. Heading there right after finishing up with Greg's Maritim's territory and getting the portals reopened to head back through to Velcomen and head off from Velcomen itself, the party would take off on their way. Managing to get there after about 6 months of travel, we return back to the year 65,008, the month of the crowning, which is November. The day is the 21st, and we are starting in the chilly morning as you lot still find yourselves docked on your ship outside, yet to have been allowed entrance, being allowed to stay within the city. A lot like the other ships you lot have seen that have come to dock outside the territory, coming to what is basically nothing better than a couple of dirt squares that have been slowly drawn or carved into the ground to allow for spaces for ships to kind of find themselves. Very rough offloading ramps that have been created that don't really work for the size of ship that you all now are piloting. The East Indiaman trading ship that you've built up. I believe, James, what did you name it?
We hadn't set a name yet, so I guess I'll be naming it right now. The answers is the two that I'm torn between are the Iron Journey or the Eternal Heart. You two can place your votes. I think I'd like to go with the Iron Journey, actually.
Well, as the party kind of debates on what they would like to name the ship in the background, you guys can put in the chat what you'd like to call it. Having managed to gather a decent crew, and having managed to get here the day before, getting a little bit of work traveling around the town, gathering some information about some of the quests, gathering flyers about the quests available in town and at the inn, you lot having spent the entire day here, it seemed almost very bustling for a city that seems to be quite militarily looking. A massive fortress at the center that seems to kind of dominate most of the city itself. No real major outer walls that seem to be very high, only standing about 50 feet in length and about just as wide. Um, Much of the city looks to be just houses kind of pushed up against each other as if they were being built actively and expanding around the fortress. Sections of the city kind of closed off for what looks to be guilds and adventuring areas take their expeditions deep into the Underdark. Overall, the town itself looks to have young adventurers coming in and out of it, miners, merchants. It is a almost metropolis of activity, though the population that lives here looks to be quite small, as you kind of realize this going through here. Only guesstimating around 15 to 20,000 people, which quite small compared to like Velcomen averages around like 35,000 on a day to day. But as you lot have managed to spend a day there, the cold, chilly weather kind of making it a little easier, but the nice balminess from the nearby deserts kind of keeping the snow from managing to leave too much of a track. We come back to the next morning with you three having kind of sitting around in the captain's quarters, a nice large table kind of set out. A couple of what looks to be one of the frost giants kind of coming in to drop off your guys' meals. A couple of what looks to be local cuisine of deep rooted vegetables from the Underdark, as well as a unique meat that at this point you've come to just call a mystery meat, as it seems to every day change in color but have the same sweet yet salty taste to it. It seems to be some sort of beast, though what it is, you are yet to be unknown. You are only told that your chef managed to acquire a good portion of supplies within the town. But as we come back, as you three find yourself sitting in this large captain's quarters, James's bed behind him, kind of unslept in, what looks to be the size of a giant's bed, a large desk off to the side with a bunch of paper scattered about it, bookshelves all along the sides of the cabin that seem to be somewhat sporadically filled, James not being the biggest book collector himself, as well as a large globe with a couple of crystals that seem to already be kind of pushed into slots, though the item yet not active. As you three sit around in these wooden chairs, kind of enjoying or kind of getting ready to enjoy your meal, the scent of coffee kind of filling the air. What would you all like to do?
I did look into oats hounds, by the way. If we would like to deal with that. I also know you were looking into Uncle the bear.
Hmm. Can I roll to figure out what this meat is? I'm curious.
Yeah, give me a knowledge, nature, or survival check.
Okay. Let's see. Survival is plus 12. Nature is plus 14. Okay. 34 for a nat 20. What a way to start session. Such a waste.
Well, so this is a mix of what looks to be brown dragon meat, and what looks to be the physical bits of an earth delver, which is like a mole-like creature that is elemental in nature. And then lastly, the only other bits in there that looks to be mixed together, almost like a sausage all pushed together, is a thing called a earth cancer centipede.
Odd, but nothing poisonous, I hope. Well, centipedes can be.
Oh, all three of those are quite poisonous, but this looks to be quite well prepared by whoever is handling
like
the
pufferfish.
sausage. Yep.
I can have detect poison.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Do you have detect poison?
I know I can learn the spell. I have to check if I have it prepared.
Okay. Sorry, Roman. Go ahead.
No, I'm just I'll wait for him to finish.
Oh, okay.
I absolutely do. It's one of my cantrips.
Okay. Let me double check something. Just for my own knowledge. Alright, let's see. What is it exactly? Okay. Alright, give me a wisdom check, please.
Doesn't that mean it's poisonous? Oh, wait. +5. 19.
Yeah, so to your knowledge, these centipedes are supposedly extremely poisonous. Well, yeah, as most centipedes are. However, as you look this up and down, kind of taking a whiff of it, I mean, you've seen people eating the same stuff and feel unaffected. By your guesstimation, you're unsure what the poisonous effect could be. Could be as minor as a minor numbing effect on your tongue. Could be as dangerous as you'll start frothing at the mouth and, pass out from lack of water. You're unsure.
Huh.
Cinder, you're right there. You seem kind of spaced out.
Just trying to figure out if it's safe to eat. Hold on.
We haven't killed over yet. Anyways, you were saying about the quest.
Yes. With those sounds, their numbers vary between 10 and 25, and they seem to attack randomly, but more often at night, and with smaller groups that are split off. Between the sizes of 2 to 5 people per group. Their poison that they have on their bites seem to harm people's constitutions, and they have tentacles coming from their heads. They can also track scent.
Interesting. If they attack randomly, it might not be the best choice for us because we're just then hoping that they attack us, more than likely. And we also don't really know if we're going to be attacked by 2 or 5.
Since the groups number between 10 and 25, we won't know how many. It'll be the groups of that number attacking.
Never mind. 10 to 25. Cinder, what about you with the quest you investigated?
Well, I know where the bear is. It ain't really moving much.
Okay.
Apparently it's old. Grew up alone as a cub. People kept feeding it. Killed a few miners in one hit, collectively, which might be marginally concerning. Let's see. Probably has followers. Apparently it's more cunning than the average. Yes, that's probably important. It is a legendary bear.
Legendary.
Ah.
What do I know about legendary bear? Or legendary animals, I should say.
You can either give me a knowledge nature, or I'll take a profession mercenary.
Let's see, how goes my knowledge nature? They're the same. I'm gonna go with mercenary.
So you'll get different answers depending on what you roll, so.
Yeah, this is mercenary.
Okay.
9.
9, you've never seen one in your life. In theory, you've heard about supposed soldiers that could ride in on creatures that were legendary, but, I mean, that's just a title. That's not an actual definitive ranking to your knowledge.
What makes this bear legendary? Is it that it can kill things with one swipe?
Legendary is what comes after a dire bear.
Oh, it's a classification of animal?
Kind of. As far as I know, I'm not exactly a bear specialist. Something not bigger than a dire bear, because I don't believe they are. Because I think legendary bears are only large.
That is correct. Typically, the bigger thing with the reason bears that manage to get legendary for druidic knowledge, as far as it goes, would be to basically creatures that are old, typically somehow have managed to gain some sort of capability in a stat, and have gained enough experience through killing things that they have become capable creatures. Some even managing to pull levels in cases. That would be the class. Dire means bigger. Legendary means this creature is capable, in a sense. Almost adventure classified.
When you say older, do you make living beyond what a bear should live?
Yes, correct. Yeah. Legendary creatures are not affected by aging.
Alright, I can run with that. Weird creatures, not affected by aging, live way longer than they should as a species. It's kind of like an evolution of a bear, I guess you could call it. They're big. They like to grapple things the moment they hit them. Very good at stat. Other than that, it's a bear. Stronger than average.
I'm interested in this. I vote for that.
There's also a quest that'll probably be not
easier.
here for long. Well, I don't know about easier. Depends on what the area is. Another adventuring party is requesting help with a hydra. Apparently, they just need someone to be a distraction while they capture the thing.
Interesting. What is this group?
Knights of Tempelis. I don't know a lot about them myself.
Would I have heard any rumors about them around town?
Give me a profession mercenary check or gather info check. I'll take either.
Can
Or
I
not,
get
sorry,
profession
not mercenary, merchant. Yes, sorry.
All right, James, roll mercenary. You got this.
All right.
Well,
I knew it started with an
war
M.
days.
I was like reading something from like the MNO group, and I'm like, oh yeah,
16.
16. Yeah. So as soon as you hear the name Tempelis, you'd recognize this as they are a minor noble house to the House of Closen. Merchant-wise, they're very well known as one of the top trading houses in the House of Closen, but they do not have much power behind them. Politics isn't really your forte when it comes to fiends, so as you kind of think it, but overall, they're known for specializing in magical staves and wands creation. They are a house of magic item creation and seem to favor casting over anything. Their heir and supposedly the most capable of their family when it comes to crafting is known as Tempelis himself. Being of Tempelis, of House Tempelis, to your own knowledge, would mean that he is basically the equivalent of a... in a sense, they're naming him almost a legendary figure, the person who's going to bring their house forward. And being that kind of give that concept means that you know that he is out here trying to gather a name for himself, as you kind of think about it. That'd be roughly what you have.
Share that information with the party going, and simply that, which means that we can deal with it. He's most likely going to be honorable when it comes to merchant dealings as well, because bad taste will be left. Well, bad mark will be left on his family if he's not, so he's good for the money at the very least.
Okay. What about, do you know of this adventure prayer specifically, or just the name?
What?
Do you know of this adventure party specifically, or just the name?
Well,
Like what their
they have.
deeds are? Have they done?
I'm guessing I would know that there's what, 4 members.
The adventuring group is pretty unknown overall. Only the lead member being really famous. There is rumors that there's a member amongst them that is a criminal, a very notorious criminal who managed to kill about 4 dwarven, snowbeard, or not snowbeard, dwarven is a better term here. Dwarven houses of other cultures, but that's supposedly just a rumor. Beyond that, there's not much spoken on the individual or their group. They've just recently popped out on the scene, to your knowledge.
They're a newer adventuring party. Only their leaders that well known. There's rumors of a criminal being among them, but not very trustworthy rumors in that instance.
It's interesting. It would be a nice connection potentially.
Could be, and might be a good connection for the business. So, I think we should start with that one, as Uncle said, because it won't be around long.
That's fine with me.
While we're in town as well, I do need to purchase some gold for making more electrum.
Alright.
The alloys, making the alloy myself rather than having it the mined version, it's a bit sturdier in my opinion. Could control the amount of gold between gold and silver in the middle.
You want to go shopping pre-quest or post-quest?
We can do it after.
Okay. Do you know where we can find this adventuring group, or just head to the adventuring guild?
I'll look at the flyer.
The flyer just states that they will be meeting at the... Give me a minute. Because I gotta find... Yeah. They will be meeting at the Echoes of the Underdark every day at noon for a whole week. If they do not find anybody, they will move on.
Well then, let's head to the Echoes of the Underdark. I'll check our map.
Do you have a... Which map?
I don't have a local map. I have the magic map.
Oh, okay. So with the magic map, just to kind of let you know, it is pretty pushed out, so you would only note that this, it shows you that there's a large city here, and you can kind of see the rough, like, outlook of the city, but besides the 4 main large roads, and the center fortress, it's not much more detailed than that when you try to look into it.
We'll have to grab a local map to figure out where that is, or ask somebody for directions.
We'll figure it out as we walk.
Alright.
Off we go.
Alright. As you guys kind of finish up your meals, kind of get as you do, get cleaning up your plates and heading off down the ramp towards the city, leaving your crew behind to kind of watch over the ship as they go about kind of keeping busy. As you head towards the large town, a few other merchants heading in with wagons from other airships have kind of come to a landing that have set themselves up. But as you lot find yourselves, I assume you're taking the wagon and you're summoning your bulky BK.
No, in this instance, I won't be summoning the BK. I want to make a harness for that loader that just auto summons him when we don't want to use one of the other things. But for this climate, I was just going to use the Arctic Bane.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, as you kind of get them strapped up, getting everything going, or getting the wagon hooked up. The chilly weather being about 40 degrees, with dark skies over, though none of the snow managing to make it to the ground, seemingly evaporating before it does, as you lot head on. The chilly wind kind of hitting as it does, but as you lot find yourself heading into the main city, it seems to almost immediately be abound with activity. People moving left and right, shouting, the smells of different foods, the sounds of coins kind of clinking onto scales, people handing off the objects, the sounds of drinking and singing. I mean, it's early in the morning still, as you can tell, but the town seems to already be alive. Stone giants, hill giants, frost giants, fire giants, dragons, kobolds, snowbeards, many races that many of you have never seen before kind of seem to be walking about in groups as you kind of head into the town. It is a huge hodgepodge. Heading through the town, though, towards where the northern or the southern entrance of the city, the closest entrance or to the Underdark that you lot know of in the town, the echoes of the Underdark seems to be kind of set up right outside the gateway in and the main road down. As you lot kind of head towards that, buying off this one of the side roads and heading down, it seems to get more or less busy as you get further down and closer towards the roads. But as you get closer, it seems to get more that the people moving about are heavily armored, armed, many mages kind of walking about. And you get a sense for a lot of adventurers seemingly moving towards the same area you are.
I would like to appraise these adventurers to possibly get a rough level.
Yeah, go ahead and give me an appraise check. Rollman, if you'd like to also, give me a profession mercenary. Cinder, if you've got something, let me know.
Well, the only reason I'm doing this is due to because if they're of a certain level and they're much more powerful than us, it'd be good to be a bit more wary.
9. I'm
9?
very consistent.
Alright, yeah, Rollman, I'm be honest, you're more just shocked there are people that are capable in a town for once. Adventures?
That 20 for 24.
Oh, damn, alright. Cinder, are you also going to be rolling or no?
I want to roll for something kind of unrelated. Because I have knowledge geography for the area this Hydra might be in and what we might be dealing with.
Yeah, give me a knowledge geography as you're kind of watching and looking about the roads and everything.
20.
Alright. Starting with the appraise, as you look about, James, kind of looking at the armors and much of the gear of many of these adventures, it seems almost most of these people seem between the levels of 4 and 5, roughly, by your estimation. More so closer to 4 than 5 on an average, but many of them seem to be outfitted with +1 gear. Aren't heavy armors, heavy plates, but much of the metals seem to be very simple in their design and lacking in any further effort. And the idea that like when you make a magic item, you usually try to make sure there's ability to continue to upgrade and improve it. These items seem to be pushed to their limits magically. Many of them, as you kind of walk by, noting that their equipment will probably fail on them within a few days of actual combat, given the experience you've put in as an adventurer and what you've had to deal with. You'd give most of these people, while level 4 to 5, probably more average chances of a 1 to 2, or level 1 to 2 adventuring groups. However, points-wise and scales-wise, yes, that would be the ranking you roughly gather. With that, also to answer towards Cinder, as you kind of take a second looking about, following this route as you do, it's a hard judgment with as you kind of look around, not seeing what the Underdark routes look like, but if you had to guesstimate based on what the adventurers are looking at, most likely this creature doesn't want to be bothered, or if it's going to be, it's going to want to be that it's going to want to stay off the beaten path and easy enough for weaker adventurers and weaker prey to find it if this creature is a bit more aggressive and hungry. As you kind of take a moment, you'd guesstimate that either this Hydra is going to be somewhere right off the beaten path that a low-level adventurer or miner might be looking for an easy score, or as you kind of take a second, you're thinking it may be further in, with it just pushing out as it's looking for prey, basically, to eat, meaning there's probably no prey beast down near it. But roughly, you'd guesstimate most likely this creature has found a couple of tunnels where it can't be easily ambushed or surrounded.
Yeah, so no middle ground. It's either deep in or very close to the entrance.
Yep, and it's going to be in like most likely in a very narrow tunnel to make it very hard to get around the beast.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Perfect. As you lot kind of continue through the town, heading over towards the building, the building at first looks to be somewhat unremarkable. A couple broken windows, some pillars that look to be slightly cracked at the front entrance. Much of the building being made of this like blackened stone that almost seems to absorb the light from around. The building standing about 30 feet in height for its first floor. A second floor that's about almost another 70 feet up. And as you kind of head up towards it, the massive stairs that seem to be protrude towards it, you all look up, and this is definitely a building built for giants, as you see the thick and high stairs you're going to have to climb to get up to the building. Seeing a couple of other adventurers who seem to be not having the best of time, a group of what look to be brown-haired, very furry-looking creatures in full plate wearing large tower shields that seem to be pulling themselves up one step at a time, as you kind of look over at each of the steps being about 5 feet in height.
Well, I'm gonna have an easy time getting up here.
I just look at Cinder, tie a rope, hold onto a rope with one hand, and pop the wand with levitate.
Oh.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna hold him like a balloon while I walk up the steps vertically.
Alright. James
Roman, you want this treatment too?
James turns himself into a balloon and starts to lightly blimp up while Cinder kind of grabs hold of the rope and starts walking him like a really almost macabre child's balloon. Roman, are you just... Go ahead.
I'm just walking up normally. That'll be difficult, but I'll be doing it.
Yep, one at a time as you're kind of climbing up the stairs. All right. As the two of you... What was that? Oh, by the way, James sent me to get you up. What were you going to say?
You're good. I was going to ask Roman if he wanted to balloon up too.
Oh. I have some dignity.
Oh, no. What you got, Roland? What are you thinking?
No, I said I have some dignity.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you have something. I was like, oh, okay, what you got? Yeah, as you three kind of manage to make your way, Cinder just kind of walking up to the wall, putting his foot up to it immediately and just walking straight up the side. Roman kind of walking up to it, getting his arms up to it, and pushing himself up one at a time. Takes him a little bit more than Cinder, but he manages to keep up a decent pace of about 2 steps behind. As the three of you kind of manage to get finally to the top after about 30 stairs. The other adventurers still in their plate, only at stair 15, still just like laying there taking a break as you can see them panting, looking up at the stairs as they wave you guys on. But as you get to the large entrance, the 2 massive doors slightly tilted open, the massive carvings of what looks to be a blackened dragon kind of breathing fire over a town carved into the wooden doors. Inside, the sounds of drinking and roar or laughter can kind of be heard. A bottle kind of coming flying out of one of the windows and shattering on the stairs behind you as you look on.
Do a kindness and make sure we're all up here before we go in, and pull James down to the ground again.
Deactivate the levitate to slowly come down.
I assume James isn't going to want to be a little balloon as you walk in, so that would give an interesting entrance.
I bring you the
First impression kicks open the doors. We are the Ironheart Merchant Company. This is our leader. Points up to me, just floating to the ceiling.
This is our leader, the great flying snow.
I lost the wand. I'm gonna fly to the sun.
I know, it gives me that old like PlayStation 1 vibes of like the old like Nickelodeon SpongeBob style games where they blimp up or something like that. The character like overinflate themselves
Fucking
to
battle
fly.
for Bikini Bottom.
Yeah, that's all I'm
Also-
picturing is James just kind of blimping up to the maximum. Go ahead.
As Roman's going up the stairs, you said they're 5 feet tall each?
Yes.
He'll just be jumping up them.
Oh, okay. All right, give me a jump check here real quick to see.
I did the math. It's like, well, I can jump 4 feet if I take 10 every time.
Okay. So yeah, no
Just
no
basically
worries.
like a palm up every single time.
Yeah, I got you. As you manage to kind of get yourselves up there, though, kind of pulling James down as James de-inflates himself, untying the rope from himself. Got the three heavy-plated guys down there making it one more step before kind of again collapsing as you hear the metal kind of cracking as they're breathing heavy, taking a minute, grabbing out waters and starting to drink it.
Looking at the stairs, are they wide enough that someone could come along and carve a smaller set of stairs for smaller people?
From what it looks like, yeah, pretty easily.
I just haven't.
No,
They're not
going
enough for
to?
small
No,
people.
no. What?
No, not at all. But I wanted to know if they were purposefully inconveniencing people.
It's a
Look, hill
challenge.
giants and stone giants, they don't really respect other people. I should know. I was among them for a number of years.
Ah, good to know.
Little background lore on Rollerman.
Yes. Not these. Not we're in Croquet right now, right?
Yes,
Like,
correct.
I was in the
You were-
other hill giant.
Yep, you're in the King Endrick's castle, not Bun's castle, which is where you are currently.
Mhm.
Um,
Alright.
But yeah, as you kind of finally dust yourselves off, get yourselves kind of situated, look out at the doors. What's the plan?
What time
Can
is
we
it?
even open the doors?
It is roughly mid-morning from what you can tell. And you can hear there's laughing and rambling going on from inside. Looking up at the doors, they look to be about 15 feet in height. That is a good question. James, as you kind of walk up and lightly push on it, just to see if they're heavy, you'd guess this probably weighs around 500 pounds.
That's
I
within
can-
my push capacity.
I would say yeah. Push it. Check.
All right, come on, James, you got it.
Roman's green glimmering silk kind of a suit glimmering in the cold. Somehow.
Does a strength check to push it open as we walk in?
Mm-hmm.
Or do we not want to walk in right now, guys? Because it is only mid-morning.
I mean-
Did they have a time that's listed for when they'll be here?
They said,
No.
they said
No, they do not.
They said-
Yes, the other guild did, or the other group did say they'd be here by noon. So.
they'd show up noon every day.
Yep.
Oh, we could wait outside if you want, or we can go inside. It's up to you.
I don't
Is
really
everyone
have
else out
anything.
here? It'd be kind of weird if we're out here alone.
As you look down about 10 stairs down, there is three heavily plated, hairy individuals kind of taking a breather on the stairs as they're still waiting to climb further.
Is it them?
Yeah. Oh no, it is not them.
Okay.
I can tell you that.
I
would
look
be
at
funny.
you and go, do they
This
look
is-
like they're from House Closing?
I will say, as you look over the fluffiness, it looks like they're almost like bear folk, if you had to guess, as far as depiction. Like, these could be lycanthropes, they could be something else.
I look at James. You know they have a furred clan called Beastmail, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
Just
The accidental
They're-
race. James takes a note and puts a coin in the accidental racism jar.
yeah, they are a furred they raise animals. Yeah, they're kind of a little animal like themselves, at least in like physicality. Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Little cat kind of seems to be as you look around, Roman, there seems to be a small little black cat that kind of seems to roam about, and literally actually small, not like as far as size, not tiny. Noting that most house cats are typically tiny for the lesser races. This one is small, kind of a little bit chunkier, black, its belly slightly sliding across the floor. You can tell this cat is very well fed, but as you look about, seeing no bowls, and seeing as it's kind of holding what looks to be a mouse's tail in its mouth as it walks by, disappearing into a hole in the wall that it seems to find, guess this cat's quite happy hunter. But beyond that, you see no others that seem to be coming up the stairs currently. There are adventurers all walking about, some heading behind the building and kind of heading down the road towards the tunnels. Beyond that, no, nothing else seems to be going up and down the stairs.
Circle, James, if you want us to go in and say hi.
Well, it'd be good of us to do, but... And maybe they've arrived early and we can get this over with faster.
That's not the right attitude. We're about to go fight a Hydra. Is that not exciting to you?
I look Roland in the face. You know, back with the hags in Greg's land, there was a Hydra there too, right?
Was there? I don't remember this.
It was,
It was in the
pot.
pot. It was in the pot. Yeah.
Oh,
I
didn't
fought
see
a
the
Hydra
pot.
once.
So I remember
oh,
out of character, it was half dead Hydra that was like I think 500.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, James, it's not really fighting if you're floating and it's underneath you biting at your toes.
I kicked it in the face. That is technically a fight.
I look James up and down for his class musculature, and I just don't say anything.
Cinder, it's kind of hard to believe that he took on a Hydra, because the few things you've heard about Hydras, frost giants typically are the only creatures, and like storm giants are typically the only creatures that typically hunt Hydra, because most people think that that's insane. Who's going to attack something with multiple heads that can bite you a lot of times? So normal people don't typically go for those kind of creatures. As you kind of look at James up and down, saying it's not almost as if, and putting in a pot, the creatures are very poisonous and deadly to most races. So, being that Reganutham is of course the only land where you can actually eat the Hydra currently without being poisoned.
Dying.
Mm-hmm. Dying is a better way to put it, but I think poison is more accurate because you can still save, theoretically.
Look, you may be a bit traumatized, James, but it'll be fine. You got us this time instead of being in a pot. And a whole other party.
And I don't have an old woman trying to beat me with a spoon.
Well, we don't know about that yet.
No, yeah.
You never know.
I look slowly at Cinder.
You never know.
If there's a woman with a spoon, she's to beat Roland, not me this time.
What? You see the door slightly crack open, and you see what looks to be a very green-looking skinned, 8 or 10 feet tall woman, and looking out a little bit portly as her chest kind of heaves out in this long, dark, and a little bit too tight-fitting dress that looks to be a bit small for her. A large wart on a very long nose as she looks out, almost like Warty from Banjo-Kazooie, from those who remember her. Might be a little bit of an old reference for
the witch.
Yeah, for those who don't recall, but
Witch.
if you don't, yeah. But as you kind of see her look out, her crazy eye kind of looking over at you, James, you immediately recognize this looks to be Granny Apple.
What?
My eyes go wide, and then they narrow suddenly.
Kind of looks over, looks down, looks down at you, all three of you, and goes, "Sonny, you look really familiar. Do I know you?
As do you, ma'am.
Has Granny tried to eat you before?"
Most likely.
You're the boy who took my sons, aren't you?
Yes, they're doing good work. They're being well fed.
They're dumber than the sack or ox, but you made Granny's old pot and coven have a big old problem. She kind of pushes the door open and steps outside, a large wooden spoon on her hip.
This
The cold shiver down James's spine.
What was that?
Not knowing who this is.
Does this woman look threatening, as in hostile?
Give me a quick sense motive real quick.
Okay. Sense motive.
Please note, James has not yet reached for his axe.
Mm-hmm.
Not 24, 28.
She seems to be she doesn't seem to be showing any sort of hostility towards James or towards you, but you can sense there is a major bit of tension between James and this woman, as if there's something unresolved that's going on here.
I told you there could be a woman with a spoon. You never know.
This is the same woman, dear uncle.
You make so many jokes, James. Nice to meet you, miss. My name is Rollerman.
Oh, aren't you so cute? I could just eat you up, as she holds out her hand daintily.
I will shake it.
She smiles as she shakes your hand and kind of looks at you, crooked teeth and all, as they seem to kind of almost... the light yellowness slightly cracks, a hole in one that you see something kind of crawl out of and then crawl into her gums and disappear as she seems to close her mouth.
Hygiene.
She kind of lets go of your hand sweetly and goes... You know, aren't you just the sweetest, most delicious-looking morsel? I bet you got all the young ladies running after you.
You flatter me.
You know, back in my day, I was the looker myself. I bet you I could have pulled you if any chance I got.
Who's to know?
Oh, for those days. Now,
So if we come inside, or...
It's not my place of business. I was just leaving.
All right.
Well,
it was a pleasure meeting you. What was your name again?
Granny Apple, at your service, sweetheart. And feel free to ever look me up if you're ever interested.
I may do that. Have a good day.
She nods and
dragging us inside.
You can feel as you turn to walk away, Earlman, you feel the eyes looking you up and down, and like there's just a weird, a bit of a strangeness to it.
As Cinder has flashbacks, he's carrying a paper for the Granny Apple Coven Apex Monster.
I just nod my head to Granny Apple respectfully, but like.
And then you're
It's
pulled
just-
inside by Roland.
James goes to say something like as he feels Rollman tug and pull him in.
just
Cinder.
a curtain nod at Granny Apple as I go inside. Good day, ma'am.
As the three of you kind of find yourself pulled in by Rollman, the door kind of closing behind you as he shoves it shut. Looking in, you see stone giants kind of all walking, sitting about, many of them laughing and joking, wearing heavy armor, wearing different weapons. Some adventurers kind of sitting about at the bar, looks to be drinking some sort of dark purple alcohol of some sort that you can see and almost smell in the air as a thick poisonous substance kind of almost makes the air a little bit ill and stagnant. As you look about the rest of the room, you can see maps kind of hanging up on the wall with little routes drawn on them for different tunnels, monster posters, what looks to be beasts that have been kind of stuffed and mounted upon the wall for different feats that have been accomplished by individuals and creatures that they've killed. Looking about otherwise, it looks like almost a full mercenary guild in here. Over by the bar, what looks to be, what most immediately you all clock as what looks to be the guy in charge, seems to be a massive stone giant with a portly belly sticking out almost a good, just about as wide as he is tall, as it seems to almost take over his whole frame. It seems to kind of bounce every time he seems to laugh, a large smile on his face, a very clean shaven head and shaven face. His arms look to be decorated with like a bunch of what looks to be small tattoos that glow and seem to give a strange, almost magical appearance to him. As you look him up and down, his eyes seem to kind of immediately clock all three of you as you walk in, and as he makes his awkward waddle, the little bit of armor he is wearing, little piece of plate kind of covering different parts of his body, seems to make a little cracking noise as they bend and smack against each other as he kind of comes around the counter, standing about 10 feet tall, and kind of smiling as he does. He kind of finds himself waddling over towards all three of you as you close the door behind you.
What is the best way I know to greet a stone giant?
Give me a knowledge nobility, if you got it.
I don't have nobility, so it's just a straight intelligence check.
Yup.
Or can I do knowledge local?
I'll take knowledge local.
Right. 23.
23. Culturally, this territory was always known as a hodgepodge. There's not really a traditional way of dealing with the people. Kind of as you think about it for a second, it might be more insulting if you do try, given the fact that these stone giants, from your knowledge, don't typically like to stick to the traditional. That's why they live here, not in the main territory.
Okay. Then I won't do anything out of the ordinary.
I'll smile at him and look up. I look at my own detriment once again.
Yeah, as the individual waddles over, kind of belly swing side to side, he smiles down at you a little bit, a big gap in his teeth as he does, and he goes, how can I help you, boys? My name is, Roar, I guess you could call me.
Roar? Okay. We're here to see if we can work with the Knights, let me scroll up so I say this right. Knights Tempelis?
Oh, you mean Fancy Pants and his, Feral Ghoul and, Pissed Off McGee. No, I know him.
Yeah, so we're going to be here to meet them, to assist them with their little issue.
He kind of
So if we grab a table and some drinks?
kind of squats down a little bit to get down to James's height. You can hear the strains of the wooden floorboards as his weight really sets in, hearing a light cracking from beneath him as you kind of almost look on for concern for a moment if this floor is going to give out underneath the individual as he gets down to your level and goes, "Oh boy, you don't got to be afraid of old Roar. Enjoy yourself and have a good drink while you're here. You're always welcome amongst my lot." Don't let my appearance fool you. I'm not as scary of a warrior as I once was. As he lightly pets his belly as it jiggles.
Looking at the stuffed heads, any of those yours?
Well, the Hydra, that dragon over there. Oh, I went to this one place. It was a freaky land in my heyday. And it was filled with dark shit, dark skies everywhere. There's a big angry puppy that tried to bite me as he points over to what looks to be this demonic looking knoll that's got teeth everywhere, eyes of gold that look to be almost magical innately. What the fur that seems to be slightly whitened from the magical influence of it. And he goes, that beastie decided to bite my ass, and yeah, I took his head for it. And it was a fair trade as he lightly taps his ass, and you can see where he is, there's nothing there. As he kind of pulls his hand back out and goes, beyond that, not much else in here. The rest of these are from the members. Oh, apologies, the Echoes of the Underdark is a guild, as he puts his hands out to the side, slightly bows, and he goes, we, work as an Underdark mercenary and scouting company. I guess you could say the captain, but I do more of paperwork these days. As you can imagine, I don't fit much into those tunnels no more.
It's a gnarly battle wound you have there, sir.
He nods and goes, oh, you have no idea, as he pats his hand, and suddenly the magic dissipates, and you see the entire arm is nothing but a wooden, a long wooden log that looks to have some arcane runes carved into it. And he goes, oh, this to the dragon. And he taps his leg, and you suddenly loses the illusion, and you see just a heavy bronze, what looks to be long, solid piece of metal that he is moving about with. And he goes, that one, I think that's to the Hydra. Oh, and this is my favorite. And he taps his head and goes, there's no magic there. I just lost my hair to a creature that cursed me.
Ah, that's a shame.
I know, right? I had a full head of hair when I was a young man.
I'm sure it was gorgeous.
I was born with golden locks. I was the envy of everyone in town. All the women swooned for me, and you hear one of the guys in the back go, yeah, all the old and decrepit women swooned for him. Aye.
I was gonna say, can I roll sense motive, but there's no point.
There's no
Much of the
point.
guild starts to kind of laugh at that.
I'll join in on that.
I'll give a chuckle.
Roy
My name's
looks
Rolliman, and I put on my hand to
He smiles. He kind of coughs up and spits off into a can. Holds out his hand and goes, good to meet you, Rolliman.
I'll shake his hand as well, and I'm James.
Alright, James, you look familiar, but I probably don't know you. And let me guess, Crazy Eyes here? I'm gonna take a bet. You look like the type who'd give the cold shoulder to someone. You got a weird name like Flame.
I just have this look in my eyes when he says cold shoulder, and I look and I just stare at him because I'm wearing ice armor, and I just say, it's
I knew it, boys! I called it! As the others kind of laugh and put down a couple coins that seem to get exchanged between them. He kind of looks back at you and goes, well, you boys are always welcome in the bar. Tavern's free, anybody who's a member. Otherwise, it's about 5 gold pieces for joining up. You can drink what you will. Just forewarning, I have a heavy hand, and I don't care if you have the constitution to hold yourselves up at night. My only rule is if you puke on my floor, you gotta clean it up.
Fair enough. Guess we'll go
Fair?
take a table.
No problem.
Find yourselves a nice place. I'll be with you boys here in a moment. As he kind of turns back to head back to the bar, waddling as he does. The illusion's retaking place and covering his wounds once again.
As he does that, do I think I'd be able to make a larger version of the hand I made? Basically, make an arm for him that would actually be able to be working if the magic isn't able to do that?
Give me a craft blacksmith.
I will ask to roll profession blacksmith since
Sure, I'll take that.
craft blacksmith.
You should get craft blacksmith.
Well, I usually use craft metalwork for this type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
charity thing.
24.
24. Looking it up and down, a complex arm that works, there's a potential right now. As you think about the materials you have on hand, Might take a bit of work, a bit of research, but there's no reason you shouldn't be able to. I mean,
I might have a gift for him someday.
I was say for your own, you saw Vicaret had a similar or some idea to what you're thinking of a bronze or a bronze-like arm.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be something I might reach out to Vicaret about.
What you think,
Oh
of
no,
James?
I know that look. We're not
James
a charity.
is smiling. No, it's not a charity. It's an investment.
What are you talking about?
So
What
you
about that
follow-
man swings investment to you?
As you follow his eyes roam and seeing the large fellow, seeing how he sways and seeing what James is like staring over at his back, there's a little bit of weird wonder in there as you kind of look at that.
What, his scars? You want to make him something?
Possibly an arm, possibly a leg.
He's
I
got
can't do
those
much about
already.
an ass.
Look, that man is happy with what he has. He's a simple, from my understanding of him, he likes those prosthetics he got there. If you gave him a complex arm, he'd just spit in your face.
Doesn't hurt to have the ideas.
Sure.
It does when most people can read your mind.
Anyways, let's find a table. As we
Cinder just kind of gives you a cold stare, saying that as he looks at you, not really catching it.
I'm gonna slowly debate on making a helmet lined with aluminum to avoid mind
You mean
reading.
lead?
Oh, God.
No,
Oh
the
my
joke
God.
of aluminum foil helmet,
Oh,
so they
yeah,
can't read my
but
mind.
if you want an actual one, it'd be made of lead.
But yeah, as you three find yourself a table or a booth to kind of sit at, kind of pushing yourselves into it and sitting down. A few moments go by as Rourke comes over, waddling over again, his belly kind of swaying side to side as he walks. Few tables kind of being budged as he kind of bumps into him. Some of the giants kind of looking up and glaring, but noticing none of them are challenging the individual as he kind of walks past and waddles over to you lot. He kind of sets down three long scrolls that seem to have a menu written out on it, and goes, "All right, so I can't cook, but these are the things I figured out I can't burn. So there's vegetables." There's meat. No, you don't get to choose how it's prepared. No, you don't get to ask what the meat is. And then I got booze. That I got a list of, as he like points to the long list of booze, like from all these foreign
That's the
lands.
menu.
Yeah, that's the majority of the menu. The other portion, the top of the menu, just says vegetables and meat.
Do I see dwarven ale on there?
There is multiple different types of dwarven ale there.
Perfect.
Roar just go ahead.
I'll take some vegetables, some meat, and dwarven. The Snowbeard ale.
You know, it's all right. So
Can I try anything
classic,
new?
huh?
Can I try anything new, James? You're a snowbeard. You're just gonna have.
I look to you very sternly. I try new things when the old things aren't there.
Okay.
Frost giant booze makes you like feel cold when you drink it, right? Out again.
Yes, correct.
Yep. I want frost giant booze, and I'm gonna not trust this man at all. Not order food. I'll feed myself.
I'll order the vegetables and meat. And is there a special today?
Yeah, vegetables and meat.
I meant for a booze.
Oh, I mean, I got something that'll knock your toes off.
I'm a practical man. I don't want to do that. I'll just.
James just
have-
thinks back to when Roland almost lost his toes to red chlorium.
Hey, we were not
We're gonna
fighting then, were we?
We're gonna let it go.
He goes, beyond that, I got something the missus has made. It's a little flowery, but it'll give you a bravery to fight just about anything.
Sure, why not?
All right, one daredevil for the tall one. A dwarven surprise for the short one. He looks over, and the cold ice for the iced one. Got it. He nods. Goes, if you need anything else, just shout. I should be able to hear you. As he kind of like gives a light bow and smiles and puts the what looks to be a chunk of charcoal behind his ear again as he walks or waddles away, bumping a few tables as he does.
I saw how much that cost, right?
Nope, there were no costs on the menu.
James, I think
Nope,
you'll just
just-
pay it. Don't worry.
Oh, I know we'll be able to.
But as the three of you are left kind of sitting here for a few moments, looking about the tavern, you see most of the group looks to be stone giants kind of about the group, many of them carrying the what looks to be a black eye symbol on them that you kind of see marked throughout the building as you look about. Seeing the, kind of catching that this seems to be the sigil of the this guild. There are many members that seem to be amongst them that kind of catch your attention. The only thing that seems to stick out as all three of you look around is what looks to be a female elf, sitting almost, across from all of you, at another booth, kind of looking about, as she seems to be chewing on what looks to be a large steak-like piece of meat, drinking from a goblet about the size of her head. She looks to roughly sit at about 5-ish feet. You'd guesstimate. Slender body, darkened skin, almost tanned brown, long, what looks to be wavy, blondish, and brown hair that seems to be kind of intermingled. She looks over, bright green eyes, kind of catching the three of you, and gives a smile, a polite wave, and then goes back to focusing on her food as she tears into it.
Polite wave back and smile, I guess. I don't know if they can. It can be seen through my helmet, yeah.
You're wearing a helmet? Take your helmet off, man.
No.
We're indoors.
Yeah, and if so, and I'm also shorter than almost everyone here.
Okay, sure, all right. It's interesting. I assume they look like they're not a slave, right?
No. As you kind of get a look of her, she is wearing what looks to be a full plate that slightly has a somewhat of a glamour that seems to be somewhat coming in and out of effect. That shows what looks to be a nice blackened, like almost tight leather or dress-like armor. It looks more designed for rogues who fight at night than it does for someone who, as you kind of see the blade on her back being a greatsword as well as a tower shield on it. She looks to be completely unbothered. It kind of catches your attention that her armor seems to be kind of glimmering between the two, but otherwise, yeah, she doesn't look to be hostile towards you and doesn't kind of catch your attention as a slave or anything.
Basically, Rowan's thought process is like maybe they're both a frontline and also a rogue at night. Interesting. I'm not going to say anything, though.
Okay. As you kind of sit there looking about, waiting, the Roar kind of comes walking out once again to set down your plate, smiling as he does, setting down what looks to be a mix of green, or what looks to be boiled leafy greens in this almost yellow-like sauce that seems to have a bit of a lemony smell. It doesn't smell, or it does not look appetizing at first, almost like a mix of stew and slime with leaves in it, as you kind of look down for those that ordered the vegetables. The meat, however, as it's set down, looks to be about a 42-ounce large chunk of steak. Looking to be almost like a New York strip, basically. So it's just one strip of meat, a couple of knives set down, some forks, and each of you are set down a drink. In front of Cinder, a bluish liquid that seems to bubble lightly, having a chilly, like almost air of it as you put your nose over it, feeling the mint kind of almost going up your nose and freezing it. James, the Dwarven Ale seems to be almost a dark in color and have a deeper but simpler flavors, tasting like almost like a deep dark beer as you kind of take it down. And Rolaman, you didn't order any alcohol, right?
I got it was like the flowery one.
Oh yes, the flowery special. Yes, as you are set in front of you, what looks to be a raspberry-like mead that has a couple of petals of flowers in it.
Okay. You want me to try the vegetables first, or you, James?
I'm more resistant. I'm more resistant to toxins.
As Roland and James just look down at it with like slight disgust, but trying to hide it so it doesn't look like they're being rude. All right, you're gonna take a bite of it, James. You said.
Yep.
All right, give me a fortitude check.
This is fortitude save.
Yep.
This will be great.
Yeah, let's see how good your fortitude is today, James.
I get a bonus because is this poisonous?
It is not poisonous.
Oh, thank God.
Nope.
It's just really badly cooked.
No, it's just a very unique
boiled.
flavor that you're about to taste.
26.
James, have you ever had boiled cabbage?
Yes, I have.
Imagine taking boiled cabbage, mixing the smell of boiled spinach into a flavor, And for those who don't know what cooked spinach tastes like, I'm sorry. I'm very happy for you. And then take a nice thick lemon custard for the stew. And that's what you basically taste.
I'm
However,
about to vomit in real life. Stop.
immediately,
Fuck.
any diseases that you had are immediately gone
Oh,
and cured.
it's
However,
like a cure.
the taste, as you kind of get it in, the texture is just not fun. And to save you from vomiting, I won't go into too much. But the taste and the texture do not complement each other whatsoever, James, as you just get it in your mouth and you can immediately see James's face sours as he swallows hard quickly and just looks at you.
It's not really vegetables. It's more like a medicine.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and try mine.
Give me a fortitude.
Okay. You right over there?
No,
James.
I wasn't expecting boiled
The 30.
cabbage and spinach.
And lemon custard.
Yeah.
It basically the same thing, Roman, but the slimy-like texture with the combined nasty green, almost like boiled spinach taste comes out in wrong and slimy in all the wrong ways, almost like what you imagine eating an insect would probably taste like, or if you tried to eat a thrycreen. The green like goo of the inside of the carapace kind of giving a similar what you imagine texture and taste as you kind of heavily swallow this stuff down, trying to keep it without gagging. It is not a
Roman's
pleasant
eating
texture.
bugs.
Yeah.
In his youth.
And this kind of reminds you of like a sour and slimy insect. But same effect. Any disease you had is now fully cured.
Oh, good. I don't have any diseases, but good to know.
It's medicinal.
Cinder,
I'll
you
switch to
see
the steak.
Rolleman and James kind of like getting this thing down, and the looks on their faces of not enjoying it. Are you going to try it?
No, I didn't order food for a reason.
Oh, that's right. You didn't order. That's right.
He didn't order.
You just ordered,
But, you
just
want
ordered
to
the
bite?
Frost Giant now.
I have smoked meat I'm carrying. I got my own food. Nice.
Do you want to try it at least? Cinder?
Cinder looks at the jiggling of the lettuce and the smell of it with the inside the custard.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I've eaten worse, but that's because I didn't have a choice. As I start eating my food.
Fair enough.
James, as you take a chunk out of the steak, it's deliciously prepared. It's well cut, it's well prepared, salted, peppered. Very simple in its taste. It just tastes like a simple, like what you'd expect a very basic steak. As you kind of tear into it. But as
That's good. I might tell Roar later that he could sell the vegetables as medicine.
No, leave the man alone.
But yeah, as you start chewing it, Roland, as you watch, kind of waiting to see if James, as he takes a bite of the steak, if he's going to have the same look on his face, as he seems to be pleasantly surprised and seems to calmly begin eating. Take a second, realize the steak looks to be alright overall.
I'll eat my food.
Yeah. As the two of you start eating, Cinder beginning to enjoy his drink, the light, the coldness kind of hitting him as it does, the booze beginning to kind of hit each of you. About a half an hour goes by as you lot are kind of eating before the elven woman across the tavern, or across the guild, kind of seems to get up, put her after finishing her plate, and seems to grab a chair and starts to make her way over towards your guys' table. Kind of sitting down, you realize she's about 6 foot in height, in truth. And as the glamour finally fails on her armor, you see the runes on her armor begin to lose, like, almost crack, and the armor slightly seems to also make a few snapping sounds as she walks over. Realizing the glamour effect has failed as her armor kind of fully shows itself, you see the massive, darkened iron-like material that seems to kind of almost make up the entirety of the armor itself, the plate, with little bits of orichalcum that seem to almost highlight chunks of it and give little ornate designs into it. A couple of runes on the breastplate that seem to once held magic now seem to be depleted as she kind of walks over, smiling, her hair kind of pulled up into a ponytail.
Looking over her, do I see a mark of Meadmancer by chance, as we were warned?
Give me a search check.
And can I roll for what like species she is specifically? I know elf kind of cuts into a lot of side species.
Yeah, go ahead. Give me a knowledge nature, see if you can figure it out.
12 for my search.
She does not have a holy symbol on her.
Okay, a little less worried now.
Let's see. Nature plus 14. 32.
32. As you kind of take a second looking her up and down, she looks to be a traditional high elf.
Oh, thank God.
I will also note, James, as you look her up and down, kind of clocking all of her items, you do see she is carrying what looks to be a great sword made out of mahamium. That kind of catches your attention almost immediately as the blade seems to give off a almost faint glow like the sun itself, a yellowish kind of a brightness. The shield itself seems to be made out of some sort of red like metal that you've never seen before on the outside or on the edges. For those who are familiar with it and have played Ocarina of Time, the mirror shield is similar to what this tower shield almost looks like. And a very deep red metal border with what looks to be a couple of symbols along the back of her shield, or in the center of the shield. The center of it made of what looks to be a bright silver-like material. The rest of her, though, as you look her up and down, she seems to have a small dagger on her hip that seems to be more for defense, but otherwise nothing kind of catches your attention, James. That seems magical. Which does kind of clock you a little odd, given how equipped she is, that she doesn't seem to be carrying any other magical gear.
Given that we're kitted to the nines usually, yeah.
I mean, yes, and you know mahamium. You know what it. You don't know what the effects or what it could do, but you know it's not a metal most people or most smiths have managed to work with. So catching that someone made it into a blade also kind of being a majorly significant attention grabber for you.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. She kind of smiles at you, and she with a broader smile, her green eyes coming to light, and she goes, greetings to you. I hope you don't mind. I overheard you three talking with Roar, and I was, it's just not often I see one of my kind walking about, especially one that's not a slave. I was quite taken aback, if I may ask. She looks over towards Rollerman and goes, "Where are you from? What's your story? How'd you get out here? If you don't mind. I apologize if this is a bit much, but it's just so rare to see one of our type out here."
Can I ask the same of you? I'm from my homeland, whatever the fuck it's called.
Draffica?
Draffica.
She kind of nods at that, and she goes, "I am as well. I came out here seeking my fortune. Found a few adventures that I signed up with for when I was younger, and just continued since. I've been traveling for, I don't know, it's been a good while now. Probably 50, 60 years.
It's good to see one of our own doing well."
She nods. She goes, "It's so rare that they're not slaves, especially when they're traveling around with the short folk," because she looks at James and Cinder.
You look back,
they're the good ones.
There are not many of them. She kind of looks over at James.
I met Rollman on a battlefield, and he and I helped each other out. He's been my friend for a good long while now.
Interesting. You don't meet many snowbeards that travel with our kind that don't look to keep them contracted. I'm kind of surprised, if you don't mind my saying, given the noble nature of snowbeards. They typically see us savage races as lessers. It's quite nice to see a commoner out here making a living for himself and keeping an elf at his side as a loyal companion. It's rare you see that kind of pairing.
James will give a kind smile and go, "Well, I'm... thank you, for one. For two, Rollman would be what I consider my best friend, and I'm glad to have his company on my long travels."
Oh, they always are. You never... That's just how partnerships work. It's just strange to see a snowbeard and an elf for that. It's rare. I must ask, if you don't mind my curiosity, what are you lot doing in town? Are you looking into the rumors of the group that's searching up for bastards coming in the Snowbeard lands? I've heard there's a revolt coming soon, and there's a lot of mercenaries starting to head that way.
No,
Don't.
not particularly.
She nods. And
Here to make a pit stop, stay in town for a little bit, do some missions. Gonna be meeting up with another group here soon.
Give me a bluff check. Both James and Rolleman.
Oh. Well, I'm not here for that, so it's not a bluff.
You what?
What?
I'm not here for the bastard things.
No, but you did look into it.
I did look into it,
Yeah, and
but that was before coming here.
14 for bluff.
14. Okay. And James.
I'm getting my bluff. I don't think I have a big bonus here.
Yeah, what's your bonus? I'm curious if mine's higher.
Uh, I can guarantee yours is higher.
Cinder just lightly feeding snow under the table as he
10.
hands them meat. Oh, Tim kind of looks you up and down and kind of nods at that and goes, "Oh, okay. Well, a lot of people have been coming into town for jobs. I mean, I was expecting interesting lot like you to be looking for the mercenary work, but if you're just passing through, I understand. I do apologize. I've been so rude. My name is Gressa." She kind of like smiles and holds out her hand to Rollman.
Oh shit! God
Roll
damn it!
Fucking damn it!
And I'll shake
Why
your
do
hand.
we keep meeting the most wanted list?
She smiles and kind of as you shake her hand, she looks at you and goes, "You have such lovely hands, truly.
Yes. I know.
I imagine you've killed many a men with that. I'd love to see sometime of you in action, if you wouldn't mind. If you're ever looking for an extra member to join on for any of your adventures, I'd be happy," as she kind of like moves her chair closer to Rollman, "to join you."
Didn't you say you had other adventurers you were working with, though?
Oh, no, that was when I left home way back when. Nowadays, I've been a solo adventurer for the last few years now. Traveling place to place, doing what jobs I can, seeing the world. It's
Daring.
quite a lonely situation. She looks up at Rollman once more.
Well, if we ever need an extra hand, I'll definitely reach out. Do you stay in town somewhere?
Oh, don't worry. If you ever need something, you can find me. She kind of gives a wink and goes, "But I am staying here at the Echoes. I'm staying on the second floor amongst the barracks, even though all these men are very sweaty and smelly at night," as a few of them seem to cheer at that and laugh. She looks back at you guys and goes, "But if you ever need anything, I'm always upstairs and happy to meet with you personally." She kind of gives a wink towards Rolleman.
All right. It's nice meeting you, Gressa.
She smiles and looks over at James and Cinder once again and goes, "Good meeting you two as well." And she nods and like
It was a pleasure.
You gotta take nods, bows, and steps away to grabbing the chair and going back, heading upstairs,
Could
disappearing from the tavern.
I get our measure on as she's walking away?
Yeah, give me a
how
profession
good
mercenary.
capably there.
Sure. Let's see what you can pull off.
10. Better.
10.
We're getting better.
Oh, and are you just trying to get a level, or are you trying to get a class build? What's the idea here?
Level of strength.
Level of strength?
Is in in combat capability.
Okay, and I'm assuming you're comparing to you and your party.
Yes.
Okay. By herself, you'd roughly guesstimate her to be probably a bit more skilled than you. One-on-one, you're pretty sure you'd lose Rolleman, but it'd be a close fight. You give yourself about maybe 30% odds, which, I mean, just comes down in out of game to rolls at that point. As you kind of look at her, though, there seems to be something that's something that's catching your attention that doesn't seem right. Like, back home, it'd be similar to a peaceful beast sleeping there. An easy hunt that would make that you'd go walk up to, thinking the beast was asleep, go to stab it, and then suddenly the creature jumped up and tried to gore you. Now, it never succeeded, but.
Is that similar to when we met Alfred Stone, and I tried to praise him and couldn't get a read on him?
No, that was entirely different. Yeah.
Okay.
This individual just seems to be almost hiding their intentions on purpose. There seems to be something about them that seems to be clouding your capability to get a read on them completely.
That is a cunning individual. After they walked away, that's a cunning individual.
I recognize the name, I do believe.
Oh, you do?
They are not on the most wanted list. I want to tell you that.
No, it's on the other list.
Yup.
It's on the what?
I just slowly rub the back of my neck.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Rolleman, give me an intelligence check or wisdom. I'll take either.
I'm good at intelligence.
Because I think intelligence or wisdom could technically vote towards us.
Nat 20 for a 20.
As you think back, Roman, you remember a list that James had, I believe James had found.
Oh.
Of all the members of
the
Cataclysm.
elf?
Yeah, that's exactly
that we
what
fought?
that. Not the elf you fought. No, this
Okay.
was the elf on the name that was on the list though.
I see. Interesting.
You, to your knowledge, have never met anybody by the name of Gressa.
Hmm. I just say I see. It's interesting.
Fucking, it's always on a list.
Let's see. James met Gressa in person before, because that was when Nar was already, but Roman wasn't there. Yeah, because the initiative count is still in Saturday chat from that.
Is it?
Yep. 4 months ago, initiative, Little Scarf, Gressa, Melvin, Nar, James.
Oh yes, that actually I'm wrong. Rolaman, I apologize. You have seen this person before. I fucked up. You have seen exactly. I remember now. You recognize as you kind of think after she heads upstairs, kind of thinking for a second. It suddenly clicks with you with that intelligence check. She was the same elven woman that was there the night. Well, you've seen her twice before. Once you've seen her with Jakix when Jakix was interrogating that person down in the tunnel that locks it on. And then second was when you guys were heading back to Mana's Grove trying to avoid, I think it was a dragon. I don't remember if it was a dragon, but some big fucking fuck you beast basically that was chasing you.
It was an illusion of a dragon.
That's it. Made. Yes, and then you had seen Gressa suddenly transform into this very kinkily dressed, like with fucking bondage like outfit suddenly, and remembered her being a sorcerer from what you had seen, or some sort of caster rather, I should state, because she was dressed like a noble. So sorcerer being the term used for those who are magic casters who have noble bloodlines would be like the term I'd use here. That would be what you'd kind of recognize her more towards when you kind of think back suddenly. She actually she got off your guys' wagon and willingly, but nearly got you guys killed from the last time you had seen her.
It was not willing. Zilpip forced her to leave and teleported us all away.
Oh, was it Zilpip that did that? Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, Zilpip saved us.
It was Zilpip in Little Scarf's body.
That's right. My apologies.
Little Pip.
Yep, there you go. Sorry, my apologies, Roman. Yes.
She was not willing. She was about to stab us, and then Zilpip fucking...
Yes.
Said no, thank you.
If you're not remembering completely, it was around the same time that you guys fought those, let me find the name of them real quick, because they were like, not Aboleth, Abishai.
They were demons, the Abishai, yeah.
The Abishai that you had fought, when you had that evil sword that was absorbing their souls and shit, from what you could tell. Yeah. That was the last time you had seen her, as she, after, as you suddenly have a light bulb moment, realizing who that was.
I wonder what they're doing here, and why they want to fuck me.
I don't know. I don't really care, and that just
I
makes
think they want to cut off your hands.
I mean, maybe that's a good point.
They may want to take your hands.
Much specific about liking your hands.
Yeah. Weird.
Concerning bits aside, I'll look around. How long have we been just sort of relaxing here now at this point?
About an hour. Roughly at this point. So it's still around mid-morning, as you guys kind of continue chilling out. Not many, or what looks to be adventures kind of coming and going, but not many of them seemingly at all interested in the three of you, during this kind of last hour or so. Yeah.
It's good. I will actually listen into some stories and see if I can gather any information in this situation about the area.
Alright, give me a listen check. For those who are kind of listening in on any of the pub talk, you can also join in.
Sure. Why not? Where's my listen?
Use a spell to boost this.
Oh no.
He's
I don't
casting
like
magic.
it.
19.
Everyone gets a
Nice,
plus
nice.
8 on listed.
Oh,
So
27.
Jesus.
That would put this up to, okay, that. Great lucky number, 26.
Okay. 28, you said, Cinder?
Yep.
Okay. With that in mind, all three of you managed to catch a lot of the conversation going on amongst the tavern goers. Many of the giants seem to most of the stone giants seem to be mostly talking about the upcoming war that's rumored. Many of them speaking to what has been heard about someone going around looking into nobility, gathering information about bastards. There's a lot. There's been a couple of what looks to be as many of the giants are putting it, the underground who are starting to look for this individual as supposedly has gained a bit of an interest. As individuals and parties who are also interested in this situation are looking to try and get in contact with him, but no one knows who this individual is and who would be dumb enough to try and take on the Snowbeards after they've recently unearthed one of their what is rumored to be biggest magical treasure hunts that has ever been found. Most of the talk otherwise seems to kind of spread about that. Some some of the giants speaking towards the subject of having heard about a new city being discovered that had a massive treasure vault on the outside, right at the entrance of it, that has made the kings and nobles of the Snowbeards far more powerful than they once were. Though not much more is spoken to the subject. Beyond that, there's a bit of rumors about a recent birth in the Dragon's Crown. Movasi is supposedly rumored to have had a child, though the rumors also state that the child has already gone missing. Which has put Dragon's Crown on high alert, much of the military having been seen even scouting this far south. As beyond that, the only other bits of information is some rumors that you hear about a elven upstart that is trying to build a nation of elves in Graphica, and that Greg's Marathon is under a current attack, as some people are believing, as the underworld of his cities are starting to rebel. Many guards are being noted to be attacked recently and being strangled or killed in the night.
Oh, great. More problems.
Sucks to be Greg.
Oh, and last bit of information you get is there is a party that has been rumored to be traveling around with an item that is known to be so powerful that world or nation leaders are looking to try and capture and kill these individuals and take their item. Though the party in name is unknown, the only name you guys kind of catch with that is the word or the simple name of Eider amongst the members.
Knew it. I was about to ask if it was a fellow.
God fucking damn it!
Seems everyone in your family's gifted, James.
Shut up about that. I don't need to be connected to that. That'll cause us problems.
I add to my notes, my other nephew apparently has a fucking leader behind.
Hey, they could be exaggerations. I mean, his magic is unique.
I'll have to send him a warning, hopefully.
I'm sure he's aware, if it's true.
That he's being hunted? I'm unsure of that.
Hasn't he had a bounty on his head for, as I look up at the sky, just for a long
Hunted for different reasons. May want to let him know eventually.
If he's already being hunted, a new group hunting him ain't gonna be anything new.
Hey, maybe the hunters will hunt each other.
Well, he'll hopefully be able to make use of the chaos. So we'll see.
Intelligent.
If we come across him, then I'll tell him if it becomes pertinent.
But after you guys have kind of spent a few hours listening in, the conversation's coming and going, not really getting much else. You see a group of what looks to be, not knights, but what would probably be the closest thing to pass for a group of wandering knights, as you see what looks to be an individual step in, about 6 foot in height, wearing long silver robes that seem to kind of harden almost into a metal-like armor around them. What looks to be a long staff at his back that has a massive gemstone, almost the size of his own head, kind of floating in the center of it that seems to slightly glow. A strange kind of symbol seemingly inside of it that seems to faintly also give off its own glow. The two other figures behind him, one that looks to be about 12 feet, wearing very simple leathers that just cover the bare minimum, looks to be a large Goliath-like figure. Slightly leaned over, very poor posture, his hands kind of just waving side to side, shoulders slightly slumped forward, their head kind of looking up blankly, a little bit of drool coming down the side of their face, or the side of their mouth. Really a clear indication that the person's not all there. The last figure looks to be dressed in what looks to be almost practical leather armor, a little bit more worn, a little bit more damaged, recognizing the storm giant leather on the armor that seems to give it its unique coloration. The short figure standing about 4 feet in height, a kind of salted black and white beard kind of coming off of him. You see what looks to be another snow beard, though his face pretty scarred up and his beard very neatly trimmed and kept together in braids, and what looks to be very long hair kind of kept into multiple ponytails.
I'll say to the party.
Well,
I'll go up
Roar
and
knows
meet
that
them.
we're looking to meet with them, so we'll see. This
I'll go up
looks
and
like the
meet them
group,
if you want.
maybe.
Yeah. What was that, Roland? Sorry?
I can go up and meet them if you want, and I'll bring them over here if they are. Knights Temples.
That'd probably be the best route to go with this.
I get it. I'm walking over.
So you get up and kind of go to walk over. The group kind of like waiting for Roar to come to them as he like notices them and seeing you, seems to give a nod and goes back to his drinks. The tall figure in their silver-like robes kind of almost looking over you immediately and seems to kind of eye you up and down and goes, "Can I?" And you give me a will save, Rollman, or do you have immunity to having your mind read?
I do not have immunity to that.
All right, cool. Give me a will save.
Okay. 16.
16. As you feel your mind like poked into, nothing seemingly going too deep. What are your surface thoughts?
Source us right now are these Knights of Tempelis. Why does that guy look like he's not all there? Snowbeard, that's interesting. And would you say this leader was? Like, what do you look like?
As you look him up and down, getting closer to him, his hood originally covering his head, but as you kind of get a look at his face now, there's something weird about him. And the easiest way to put it is his face doesn't look right. His hair looks slightly disheveled. His eyes seem to slightly change colors as he blinks irregularly. One seeming to go from blue to brown to gold, just randomly. The other one seemingly staying the same color, brown the entire time. His nose slightly seems to twitch and kind of almost give itself almost a slight curvature from side to side, almost without him doing anything. He just looks off. Nothing looks like it's normal as you kind of get a look at him, Roland.
Yeah, so thoughts about him are just like strange. Don't know what he is.
He kind of looks at you, he smiles, he takes the hood back, and you see this like almost human, well, actually really a human-like face, which is strange because humans aren't a thing. And so as you kind of clock him for a second, he almost looks like a half elf, maybe half Goliath like yourself, that looks to be a bit more Goliath with an elfin-like body, given his more humanoid facial features. As he looks at you and kind of gives a smile and goes, "I apologize, I did read your mind. My name is Tempelis of the Knights of Tempelis. My friend here is a Ferrogorgon, which means that they are a Goliath, who I imagine your people are very familiar with. And lastly, my friend here is not a Snowbeard, he is a Seabeard. They are a separated culture from a long time ago that split off, that they mainly found themselves in the northern Troll territories. He himself is..." As he kind of looks down, and you see a grimace and a glare from the dwarf that could kill. And the individual looks back up at you, the Tempelis figure, and goes, "He is a prickly sort. But my name is, of course, Tempelis." As he kind of pats the large Ferrogorgon on the chest and goes, "This is Apokolothoth, although we call him Apocalypse. And my short friend here, who's glowering at you and thinking probably to how he can cut your testicles off within 2 easy strikes, is Rel's Stormbeard."
Don't blame the man. It's good thinking. You gotta be on your toes out in here.
Rel seems to kind of give a humbug almost, and kind of gives you a glare as Tempelis smiles and goes, "Yes, he's not the talkative sorts, and Well, I mean, he did lose his tongue recently, so it doesn't really help. Do you mind if we sit? I see your friends are looking on at me nervously, and I'd rather, mellow them out if possible.
Yeah, I was just coming over to confirm you were the Knights of Tempos. More of a formality thing, since you guys seem like the fit the bill.
Well,
Right, come over here.
not many people are willing to take on Hydras, I imagine, this day and age.
Oh.
As he kind of follows you over. Yeah, they kind of begin to pull some chairs over, sliding up. Rails, the sea cliff dwarf, kind of seems to push in next to Rollman, kind of shoving him lightly over and taking the seat, while the other two kind of sit in chairs on the at the head of the table. The large feral Gargan kind of sitting off to the side, or standing off to the side and looking down at the table, just staring at the meat, drooling as they do. Tim
I'll
Pellis kind
pass
of
him my
smiling.
meat.
You didn't finish? We ate for like 3 hours.
As soon as
A lot of meat for me.
As soon as you push it over, you watch as they seem to jump on it, grab it with their claws, and start shoving it into their mouth. As Tim Pellis kind of looks at them and looks back at you and smiles and goes, "I do apologize. Feral is not just a misnomer or a title; it's a literal sense. Not much." As he taps the head, there.
It's quite all right, Tim Pellis, I take it.
Well, yes, that's most people call me. My first name isn't of much value to you, most people, so my family's name is the best way to work off of. As you kind of clock that he doesn't realize that you caught on that his first name is also Tim Pellis.
I'll just give a smile and go, "That's quite all right. You can call me James. We're from the Ironheart Merchant Company. We'll be assisting you with your little problem."
Oh, yes, I've heard of you lot. I appreciate your help. You are all pretty famous, from my understanding, having taken part in the Holy War down against Lithotara down south. From my understanding, even having managed to take on 2 separate armies over in Mana's Grove, managing to beat out the House of Closen and Jia Terrasitis' own clan of Meijing. It's quite an impressive feat.
It's not technically wrong.
Not technically, and I'm just not gonna correct that because the street cred's kind of worth it right now.
I'm disappointed internally at James and that whole situation.
All I did was remind Nara that he had an item.
Tim Pellis kind of continues on and goes, "It's quite interesting or unique that a lot of you, someone so capable, would be interested in a humble quest. I hope you don't take offense, but we have been nearly killed by people trying to assist us before. May I ask why you're looking to assist us?"
Knowing of Tempelis, the House of Tempelis itself, and seeing as I'd rather make sure that there are more merchants around, I found it in my best interest to give you some assistance.
Also, never fought a Hydra before. I'm very interested.
Man,
I've fought a Hydra before as well. It's not exactly a
That is
pleasant time.
give me a will save, James.
This is against the spell, I'm guessing? Or spell
Mind,
like
yeah,
effect?
this is a mind-affecting spell. Yeah, he's trying to read your mind from what you can tell. This is detect thoughts to kind of keep it for your note.
He's detecting the thoughts.
God!
Well, I'll ask firstly, what are James's surface thoughts?
Well, technically, I was in a pot with the fucking Hydra. That's
what you're thinking
fighting.
about? Okay.
Yes.
You feel your mind probes for a moment, and you almost feel something really delving a little bit deeper, and then it suddenly pulls out, and Tim Pellis kind of smiles and goes, "Oh, I do apologize. It's something I do with any new compatriot I meet. When you give facts, it's best to check that information. In my experience, we ran into a fellow named by what was it? Jakix Marin? No, Marin.
James will just sigh. The most wanted man.
Don't say their last name. They seem to show up when you do.
Again, suddenly noticing Cinder for the first time, kind of nods at that and smiles, seeing Snow under the table, kind of poking their head out, chewing on some meat. As he kind of looks at you and nods and goes, "Yes, we were investigating him at the request of Bun. I wouldn't call him a Regan. I don't know what the Stone Giants really use here, but we met with the leader here, Bun, once, and he had spoken that the fella had set up stronghold deeper in the ground and was at war with these oat fellows. I was curious, and we thought we had a chance. We tried our shot at it, and that's when we found the Hydra, when we literally fell into its den. We barely managed to get out. We had a fourth companion with us, but unfortunately they were eaten on our escape. But
Shame.
this Jakix fella was an interesting one. He had mentioned you, James, by name as he kind of looks you up and down. Described you almost perfectly, too. Mentioned that you lot might be able to help us with a Hydra, which is why I'm a little wary given the individual's reputation that recommended you. He said something about heading to the dragon pits at your advice, and didn't see much else after that.
I shrug at the mention of the dragon pits. I've never advised him to go there. Few dealings we have with him are not exactly willing on our end. We've asked him to leave us alone multiple times.
I can see that your mind seems to be, not clouded, but blocked for the few memories you have of him. None of the words seem to be able to be recalled by others, it seems. Quite an interesting power.
Individual.
But I can promise we mean you no harm.
I can see that. I can see you lot are decent folk, at least most of you, as he kind of eyes up Cinder.
Well, that's supposed to
Can't
be.
read Cinder's mind.
It's nothing personal, but typically those who try to hide their minds additionally don't tend to strike me as the kind and honest type. Given your appearance, I can't help but wonder that you're... As he looks up at the Pharaoh Gargan, who's still kind of drooling from the little bits of steak juice after finishing it, and then looks back at you. A little more primitive.
Kind of in my eyes.
It can be considered rude to go around poking people's minds. And I don't think it's incredibly strange to be a private individual.
I would say the same, as he looks over at Rollman, kind of cutting James off and goes, I would say the same, but your friend here has something that he's carrying on him that marks him as evil. As he seems to eye Cinder up and down.
Look, just because I'm cursed doesn't mean you can just broadcast it to everyone.
Give me a bluff check.
I'm not bluffing. That's not. It is part of my backstory. I am cursed.
Oh, okay, I see what you're doing. Oh, I know what you're referring to.
It's his
Okay.
eyeball.
Cursed. I'm not
No,
lying.
I know. Yeah, okay, I see what you're doing. Yeah, I got you.
The eye, and the only thing marked on him that's evil is his
Yeah,
eye. Because
still-
I already went
Still
through
give me a
that.
bluff check to see if you can convince him that is the only thing. I think that's still... Because you're not lying technically, but it is, in a sense, you're
No,
misdirecting. You're misdirecting him, trying to get his attention to something else, so...
2, 4. I'll use the +9 for a 30 because I don't want him fucking with me anymore.
As it kind of looks you up and down, and nods and goes, cursed isn't what I'd call it, but I can tell something's wrong with you. If I may advise to you lot, typically with Lithotara having died, if you don't know your druids too well, I'd recommend making sure to check whatever divine being they have an invested interest in these days.
I must say, Tempest, you're being incredibly rude.
It's concern. I've lost plenty of compatriots, unfortunately, on the road due to ill plans and lacking in any information. Traveling companions can make or break a mission, and it's nothing personal. As he looks you Rollman, kind of breaking away, looking at Cinder. But I don't feel like being stabbed in the back once more. I almost died the last time.
Understandable. So, what do you say? Willing to work with us?
It's hard to say that you're going to be much of assistance, but I can't say that you have any plans to kill me. Your leader here, as he looks over at James, is honest with me, and while I can tell your compatriot in the back there isn't telling me everything, as you see Apokolothoth. You can tell how often we actually use the full name here. Kind of taps him on the shoulder lightly with their hand, and Tempels looks up at them and kind of nods and looks back at you and goes, apparently you've passed the test, so you're welcome amongst us, but I should warn, Betray us at your own risk. I almost killed the last one that managed to do it, and he was much stronger than you lot.
Of course. So what can you tell us about this Hydra, since you've run into it?
Well, it's got 10 heads. It bites like a bastard. And from what I can tell, there's nothing really special about the creature. It seems to have just brought itself up from deeper in the Underdark, something seemingly chasing it, as it has a few chunks and scars that show clear signs of battle that it did not come out well of. My guess, this creature probably came up here out of desperation for territory and started using the stone giants for lunch. Maintain its food, the creature's size and all. Beyond that, it's killed 26 miners, 12 minor nobles, 4 adventuring parties, and has a small hoard in the back of its den of items and materials that it has shat out, but most of it's covered in, well, fecal matter.
Hydra shit.
Yeah. And if you're not familiar, the stuff's extraordinarily toxic, even to smell it, and intoxicating. Not in the good way, either. Stuff smells like the wrong end of a troll.
Saying that James just has a flashback to the cloak
You
of the
got a
Brown
shudder?
Star.
You
My
pussy.
flashback to the cloak of the Brown Star when it was wet.
It continues and goes, thankfully it's not ice or fire, no special abilities beyond its poisonous bites. Creature just seems to be quite lacking in any understanding or intelligence, chasing the easiest meal, so make yourself look like a tempting treat, and it'll leave everything alone. Our plan is he kind of like unfurls what looks to be a long caveway map, and kind of like begins to draw on it, taking out some ink and quill. There's 2 roads. Well, rather, this is 3 roads, but this third one is a dead end. It's if you get caught in this, it's game over. The creature will devour and probably kill you. But, from my understanding, other than the ability to strike you almost 10 times before you can blink, the major issue with this creature is we need to get around it. I have managed to get me a spell scroll that, if I can get behind it without the creature noticing for a moment, I can manage to disable and keep the thing held in a pseudo-net, if you will. The issue is the creature can't be aware of the effect or the spell happening, otherwise it can it can get out of the way, as you can imagine, and I don't think this spell has any ability to keep it from doing so. It's slow activating, slow moving, pretty much lacks in any real power to it beyond the fact that it's, guaranteed, as I've been managed to use it. Works on anything other than Apex monsters. Beyond that, the creature, from my understanding, seems to have minor magical abilities, but we haven't seen any of the effects. The miners have seen it state otherwise. And it hates elves. I have no idea why. But I watched it literally break away from us while we were stabbing it. We're legitimately in the middle of a battle. As he looks over at the sea dwarf and goes, "My friend here managed to even take one of its heads in a single chop." And the creature immediately broke from us upon seeing a group of miners that had an elfin slave and went and attacked the elven slave, leaving the miners to scatter. I have no idea why.
Well, after being bait, will be good bait.
He nods. Beyond that, I don't know much else. It's the tunnels. The way it works is if we can just keep it in these narrow things, the creature can't turn around too quickly. It should be easy enough. Just gotta basically walk into its den, pull it back, and we'll sneak in around this side route, come down through the entrance into its den from behind, and then sneak up on it. If everything goes well, you shouldn't have to do any single combat other than hopefully avoid being bitten.
Cinder, do you have any poison resistance spells?
Well, I mean, I don't think so. I have a poison immunity item. That's only single person. I can cure poisons. I can't really prevent them.
Okay. Is there any vegetables left? Well, it's diseases, not poison.
That was disease.
Never mind. Okay. First question is, are you okay with it dying if things don't go to plan?
I mean, we won't get paid if it dies, so we'll split whatever the materials are, if that's fair.
I look to James.
That'll be more than fair.
And then beyond that, I mean, if my spell, you won't have to take out any chunk if my spell fails. That's on me, as far as it goes. And if it fails, I expect you lot to run. You don't have to kill the beast, but if you can manage to, I mean, Regan Utham didn't say he wouldn't pay us for a corpse. He just said he wanted it alive, from my understanding. So, I mean, I see no reason why not to, let him know and take what pieces are valuable and send him the rest.
All right.
Do you
and
think
as for
we?
the... Go ahead.
Do you think we get paid less if it's permanently blind?
Oh no. My understanding of the Regans, few contacts he has here in the town, they've told us that the only thing it needs to have, if it's going to be living, is the ability to reproduce, and needs to, preferably if we can remove its teeth, we will get a bonus, as the creature's biting, can be quite, my understand, problematic for druids.
He's gonna gum everybody.
He's going to steal the moon.
What?
More moon theft.
That's out of character.
All right. As for the reward, we're splitting it. How do you want to split that?
Well, I assume no one dies, 50-50. Someone dies, we take their portion out and we donate that to their family. I think that's fair.
That sounds fairly well to me.
And then the only other thing is he sits down what looks to be a long piece of papyrus with a bunch of words written onto it and goes, "A magical contract, if you don't mind. I won't have any of you working with me unless you've signed it. Each of my members already have. It's pretty traditional." As he kind of like taps the thing with this this feather pen that's not yet wet with ink, and kind of begins to read off of it and goes, "Basically, to surmise this. This basically keeps us from attacking each other, and keeps us from betraying each other without this thing basically burning up and letting us know. If you attack one of my members, or if I attack one of your members, this will begin to burn, and we'll know that the contract is null and void. At that point, you can do as you wish, but if you attack us beforehand and this thing burns, I will unleash all of my power I can upon you. Beyond that, as long as you're willing to accept a sign for something like this, I think anything else we can agree upon."
That will be acceptable. What about the posted price for the job is my only other question.
That'll be your reward upon the completion of this job. Either way, you'll get that whether or not we end up turning it to a corpse, or whether we turn in the body or turn in the creature. You'll get a 250,000 flat. That is, we'll call that life-risking payment.
That will sound fair. I'll look at the contract to check for hidden clauses.
Give me a decipher script.
All right.
I'm going to
Not great at this.
You're not good, apparently. Oh! Good news is, there is not anything in there that looks to be, that is, hidden. It is literally a plain contract, with no hidden ink or anything that you can tell. Looking it over, it looks to just basically read out what you'd expect of a standard contract for, adventuring parties.
Something similar to what I basically stick my own employees under at this point.
Minus the NDA, yeah.
You can't tell anyone about what we do here.
Yep. Beyond that, yeah, no, everything else is 100%. To tell you out of character, legitimately, there's nothing in this contract that's designed to screw with you. It's just to make it so he knows if you're going to attack him.
Note to self: make my contracts magical like this. That's for later, as James will sign.
As you do, the contract immediately, as soon as the ink settles, begins to fold itself up. You see a small little mark emblazoned on all 6 of your guys' chest for a moment, and then it dissipates, and he goes, "Perfect. The pact is sealed. Now, if any of us decides to attack one another, suddenly, as he hands you a copy, an extra piece of an exact copy of it, and goes, it'll begin to burn, and you'll know that one of us has betrayed the other. I assume you'll be able to figure out which, given the circumstances, most likely. But, with that in mind, I think our deal is settled. We don't plan to head out till the night, given the creature's not active during the day, from what we've been able to tell. And we can't figure out where it scurries off when it sleeps. We thought it was in its den, but somehow it does not seem to be the case. So, to avoid being surprised or attacked at all, you have the rest of the day to gather what resources you can. I can answer what questions I can, but me and my party are going to be gathering our own gear for it, as this beast already managed to eat through most of our potions last time.
Do you know of any good poison resistances in town that we might be able to pick up?
In town? No, we got most of our stuff in Dragon's Crown before coming here. A Wyvernkin fellow was traveling around the town selling goods. A little freaky fella, but you quite capable as a poison maker and seem to have a bunch of antidotes. I stocked up on
You.
poisons and disease antidotes. As you kind of think, James, yes, that's immediately the person who comes to mind.
He's alive.
Okay. I'll take a look around town anyway. I'll let you guys know if I find anything.
He nods and goes, I think beyond that, the only thing I could think of, you might be able to find something at, say, maybe the Silver Lantern or the Deep Threads. They sell a lot of stuff to do with the Underdark, but I did not find anything when we went there, and much of the merchants were not the kindest to non-giant races, non-giant races, and as he pats Apocalypse, as I'm just going to use the name here to save myself some time here, on the shoulder and goes, they gave us a bit of an unwelcomed welcome, if you will, unfortunately.
My apologies. I'd like to appraise the gear of the Seabeard and the Apocalypse.
Okay. Feral Gargan, yep. The Feral Goliath, if you will. Feel free to give me an appraise check or a profession merchant. I'll take either.
Well, this is to appraise it for how good it is.
Then appraise.
So.
I'll take it. Yep.
15.
15. Okay. So, as you know, and you said you're going to be looking at the Seabeard and the Feral Goliath.
Yeah, because it looks like I can tell from at least how Templus's stuff is. He's decently set up.
Fair enough. So the Goliath is carrying what looks to be two large gauntlets on its hands that seem to glimmer with giant runes on them, as well as a belt that seems to be made of storm giant leather that you kind of clock almost immediately. Kind of catching that, you'd guess that's probably a belt of giant strength and gauntlets of ogre power or giant power in this situation, giving this individual a huge strength boost. These would be basically one-of-a-kind items. As you can tell, they're not burnable items like the ones you saw in Ring and Utham's lands. These seem to be continuously usable.
Like the ones I constantly have.
Yes. As far as otherwise, there does not seem to be any other gear on this individual that kind of catches your attention. Kind of looking them up and down. It looks like they clearly have some like a place on their belt for something to sit, but there's no weapon there currently, from what you can by looking at them. Beyond that, nothing else kind of catches your attention about them. No earrings, no jewelry, surprisingly, or anything like that. The Stormbeard, or Seabeard rather, his name being Stormbeard, he, as you kind of look him up and down, his leather armor looks to be made of storm giant leather, looks to be about a +3 leather armor, and he is two blades that he has, one on his back and one on his hip, what looks to be a short sword and a somewhat longer dagger, that is technically referred to as a dirk. I believe.
Okay, not bad.
Are both made of what looks to be, let me find my list here, calorium and iron. And then beyond that, he has two earrings that you catch are both magically enchanted, though you don't know what they are. As none of the rest of them are wearing them, the only thing you're sure of is they're not earrings of sending of any sort. Beyond that, nothing else kind of catches your attention about him. He seems to wear gloved hands, so you can't really see any jewelry upon him. Nothing else kind of catches your attention besides the earrings.
One thing about Apocalypse, do they need a weapon?
Tempelus looks up at them and then kind of looks at you and looks back over at you and smiles and goes, "Oh, no. It's better to demonstrate than really explain it. Apocalypse." And he snaps his fingers, and you see suddenly their eyes begin to go red. They increase up to what looks to be gargantuan size as they grow, grabbing a chair and just smacking one of the stone giants in the head, knocking him out cold. And then as he snaps his fingers again, they shrink back down and calm and go back to their docile, drooling self. And he goes, I once heard about a man who could turn into a giant ape. And I like to kind of think of it like that. As he looks over at the stone giant who is seeing stars, looking up at the sky or at the ceiling.
It reminds me of Glitterbreeze, the one who slayed Lithotar.
I've not heard of that individual. I did hear Lithotara got killed, but I had not heard that who the adventurers were. Only thing I
There's a
had
group
heard.
brought in by the collective.
Yeah, I've heard that. Large fella with a squirrel on his back. Some a group of toads that decided to fight, and some leaping dragon. Not much else was told to us out on the sticks here.
It was a pixie that could grow to about the same size.
He nods and goes, huh. I mean, I wonder if that's the creature that we heard through a mountain at the god. I mean, you'd have to be able to beat it, I guess.
First, it was a very extreme battle. But should any of you need any extra gear that I might be able to provide, I'd be happy to.
Tim Pellis looks at you for a second and goes, actually, I have an item I can't craft, but I had concepted it. I've been looking for a craftsman that might be interested in doing something. Have you heard of a headband of intellect?
I have. I'm not sure I'd be able to craft that.
That's fine. That's not what I'm looking for. It's a similar concept. It's called, the idea I've called it is the headband of well-spokenness, a headband of charisma, if you will. As he kind of like pulls out a drawing that's very well detailed and seems to have a couple of like magical insignias and symbols on it. As he kind of shows that kind of catches your attention. This looks to be a full blueprint.
If I treated the headband as a piece of armor, do I feel like I'd be able to make this?
Looking it up and down, you're almost 100% sure you'd have to make it as a wondrous item.
I don't think I'd be able to make this, but I do know a craftsman that may be able to.
Nods and goes, well, if you can, I'd be happy to invest and fund it. I have the materials I'm interested in having made from it. I just, personally, as he kind of like holds out his very dainty hands, and goes, not much for the harder labors, as you can imagine.
I can work the metals, but the enchantments will be on me, for certain. So, if I work with the person, we could have it done in probably a few days. We can deal with that after this.
I plan to stay in town for the next few weeks, so that works for me if you're interested. If you manage to get this completed, I have a payment for you that I think would be well worth your value in this case.
We can discuss that further after.
We can talk about this after.
He nods and goes, yes, the Hydra. So, your best bet amongst town, I'd look around town as you can. Prepare yourselves for tonight. My recommendation is invisibility will not help you. We tried that. The creature can sniff you out. Basically, my advice is gather things that can make you faster. No offense to you, James, or as he looks over to Cinder, not having caught Cinder's name and kind of looks back at James and goes, between the two of you, I imagine it's going to be quite hard to outrun this beastie. So,
well, if the tunnels are wide enough, I should be able to bring the wagon.
I put a bag on the table. Like a little pouch. James, you remember this is the bag that when you open it, it smells really bad. It's all of the Smilodon glands.
Oh God! It's
the scent glands.
Uncle, that's the scent glands. Are we going to use that?
It can't smell us out if it can't smell.
I set the troll ass cloak bag on the table.
Oh,
Exactly
no,
what I
that's
was
too
thinking.
far. That's chemical warfare.
You see Roman's a little bit of fear, and Roman's eye sees you going for the bag and shaking his head lightly.
Look, we still need to be able to function, James.
Well, it might knock it right out. Damn near did with the ship.
No, just put it away. I think Cinder's got a better idea with that.
All right. As I set it back onto this little spot that it goes in. It looks like a coin purse at this point. I'm going to make that point. Because if someone robs me for coins, they're getting that. Fucking...
Pellis just kind of seeing the scent glands, kind of nods at that and goes, if you think you can manage it, it kind of like stands up. The sea cliff dwarf kind of like pushing out. The Pharaoh Goliath kind of just still standing there drooling as Tempel stands pushing his chair back and goes, if that's your thinking, I think you should be all right. But I still recommend something to keep yourself somewhat faster. The beast is much quicker than she looks. But with that, unless you lot have any other probing questions, as he looks over at the sea dwarf and goes, we have things we must take care of as well in town.
All right. Where do you want to meet up tonight?
Let's meet here once more. I think it's the easiest location to come to, especially given the entrance we'll be going into is behind the building, and is easiest to get access to through here.
All right. Well,
All
we'll
right.
see you then.
Tempels kind of nods as they kind of get up and head out of the or out of the guild, heading down the stairs and disappearing into the city.
They seem competent.
You mean like an asshole?
No,
Oh.
competent is in there. They know what they're getting into.
It'll be all right, Uncle. And if we decide to take on making that headband of his, I'll ensure you're well paid, either from my own pocket or from his.
I don't know why he wants a headband. There's a concept already of a cloak that is the same thing.
Maybe he
Well,
already had a
I think about it. He already had a robe on. He might not be able to stack the two,
Wear a robe and a cloak.
or he might not wish to.
What was that, Rollman?
He might already have a cloak.
Also possible.
Can't be that.
All right. Well, should we go out?
I guess we're going shopping.
Purchase your
Yeah.
gold.
Yes, it'll be a good time to purchase that, along with see what other goodies might be in the city, as we'll
I'll
head
try
back
and
out to the wagon.
Find some things against poison.
Mm-hmm. So, a quick little side question. All right, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break for the players and the DM to take a quick bio break, get some water and other things. So for the players, or for the people watching at home, we hope you enjoy it, and we'll be back after this quick commercial break. Welcome back after that quick short commercial break. We got our water, we got our alcohol, we got our crackers. Mostly just the DM drinking, because this is me drinking cider in the background. But, alright. As you lot kind of sit around the table, having a moment to kind of think, each of you kind of contemplating for a moment in your head, as you then kind of start to plan out, looking at the, not only the blueprints he left behind with you, but also realizing that you lot have to kind of get your own preparation done. You guys, the three of you are left there kind of waiting. What would you like to do?
I believe we're splitting up. I'm going to go look for poison-resistant thingies.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go see if I can purchase some gold and get it to the ship.
Okay. Interesting.
Well, that's just because he wanted to do that earlier, so he's just going to do that
I
now.
did it earlier.
Oh,
Yeah, but
okay.
since I thought we'd be leaving for the job at noon, basically, so I was like, I'll do it after, because... But since it's
Gotcha.
going to take time.
Yes.
Plus, while I'm there, I can keep an eye out for any other items that might be useful for the Hydra.
Okay. Give me a
What are you doing, Cindy?
I'm just like, dude, I'm already poison immune, so I'm just looking for interesting shops. Like, just anything that catches my eye that might be intriguing to own or see what it does, you know?
Okay.
And
Maybe
when
I'll
I
find
swing
some-
back by the ship, I'll probably pick up potions from the potion crane.
Oh God. So just to make clear, so are you all three splitting up, or it sounds like Cinder, you don't have anything specific, so are you
me and
following
Cindy
up?
should go together. Especially with Gresso.
Okay.
Interested in the
Yeah,
person.
with the rest around.
So you're gonna let
Actually-
James go off on his own?
Snow's gonna follow James.
Okay, so I put forward again. You're gonna let James go off on his own, the guy who notoriously gets kidnapped more often than any other player or character in this entire world.
It'll be fine.
I just want to put the last time that Chaston said that on the record for the people at home. That was when Temidar ended up in living armor made of mimics. So
I also put out that was entirely Cameron's fault for flipping a mimic egg. That we were there and it still happened. He did it in front of us while I was noticing, so that didn't change anything.
Look, I'll ask James. Are you confident going alone, or do you want to go on
I
over?
think we should stick together given who we know is in the city, but if you two would rather me go off on my little errand by myself, I can do that and wait at the ship.
We could go together, I guess.
Roland just sighing at the annoyance, thinking immediately the flash of James being picked up by Kaijin or Jakix and disappearing, kind of irritating him in the back of his mind.
Or any stone giant just walking past and drop kicking me.
Well, that's pretty out of left field, but okay.
To be fair, that could happen to any of you, in all honesty.
No, I'm more about a giant just walking by, picking up like a suitcase and walking away.
Yeah,
Fucking, I got a bounty to turn in. Let's go. Fucking.
Oh, God. I will say, James still does have that bounty on his head to your knowledge, Rollman.
He's got a helmet on.
Yeah, true. And a big Ironheart merchant company emblazoned on him. But as the three of you kind of start to clear your table, getting up, waving to Roar as you head out, as he
I
smiles.
leave some money.
I'll leave 15 coin.
15 of what coin?
Gold.
Copper.
The gold.
I'll leave 15 gold as well.
Okay. Alright. As the two of you kind of drop some coin off, getting to walk away, heading out as you wave to Roar, heading into the city, kind of climbing down the stairs, seeing as the group of, as you get a closer look at their faces, these furry-looking individuals with deep brown hairs, you recognize, or you kind of notice these look to be hobgoblins, having had experience fighting individuals like this before. They are finally at the top of the stairs, but are kind of taking a breather as they're like feet hanging over, breathing, drinking water, trying to catch up, or catch their breath overall.
Do they look like they could open the door?
Looking them up and down, I mean, they managed to climb up here in full plate. That looks a little too heavy for them. If they can't, that's their own problem, as you think, Rollerman.
If they're not close to being ready to go inside, I'm not going to hold the door for them.
They look like they're still sweating and just down. They seem to be sitting down and just resting. So.
Okay, yeah, I'm not going to hold the door for them.
Okay. As the three of you head
downstairs.
Yeah, as the three of you head downstairs, kind of climbing down. A lot easier to get down than getting up.
Yes.
James and Rollman kind of just drop down. Cinder just climbing down with his shoes as he walks down the walls without worry. But as you head into town, passing by, there's a few shops. The first, out of curiosity, who is going, or what are we looking for first? Or rather, what are what are we looking for overall?
I think
let's do
we
thing first.
Okay.
Hydra stuff first, and then we can go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So, Roland, you said you're looking for a place that sells poison or deals in poison.
To find some measures against poison.
Okay. So I'm gonna at least give you a couple names of stores as you pass by, just so that you kind of see a little bit of a description, see if any of these catch your attention. But give me a search check actually here. Let's see how quickly you can manage to focus in.
Just like I'll be looking both at like the general shop and also the patrons. Like, are they look like roguish individuals? That's what I'm assuming use poison and stuff.
Oh, so you're profiling. Got you. Okay.
Profiling. 21.
21.
It's learned behavior.
As you pass by, there's a few shops that kind of catch your attention, but the one that seems to have the most roguish-like individuals, people looking to be in light armor, looking to be wearing a lot darkened clothes, and mostly carrying what look to be wicked daggers. And to Rollman's mentality, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind when you think of rogue is immediately these people who go around battlefields grabbing easy kills, trying to steal coin purses off bodies, cut purses, your typical criminal types, or low-end soldiers, those who are just there to make a couple bucks off the loot. As you pass by this shop, you see what looks to be this massive 120-foot tall building that seems to stand as a single story. It looks to be the largest building outside of the fortress itself, towering far above, with what looks to be individuals that are dressed very roguish-like, kind of coming and going of different races, going in and out of this massive door. What looks to be a large gemstone, kind of a blue gemstone pushed into the door that lets you see through it like a glass window, that seems to give a bit of a glow, recognizing Cinder. This looks to be made of the same kind of magic you specifically work in. It is not blue ice, but you do recognize the magic coming off of this gemstone as similar to your icy druidic abilities. Otherwise, the building itself doesn't seem to have anything else that's kind of noticeable other than the massive size and the large gemstone in its door. The sign up front reads in both common and in giant Frostfire gems and magical ingredients.
I'll say we'll start here. Watch your purses.
James tucks
Snow
the
looks
bag
at
of coining.
Yeah, Snow looks to either side of themselves and looks up and then yawns and just walks, kind of follows in.
James tucks the bag of coining deeper into the armor, leaving the bag of scent out
presents and out. Okay, I'll
Alright.
go ahead and lead the way in.
in its place.
Okay. As the four of you kind of push in, Rollman leading the way as he shoves the door. The door seems to easily open without much effort, Rollman, surprising you with how large this door is. As it does, a few small children of differing races comes running out past you, bumping into you left and right.
I'm holding my coins.
I was going to say, each of you give me search checks immediately.
I get a bonus
If
for
they rob
being
me,
prepared.
the only coin purse they're getting is gonna smell like ass.
Oh, the poor children, though. James, think of the children.
What was that, Rollman?
No, I'm ready. James is doing this on purpose.
Nice, James. You wanted to steal it.
Goodbye, ass cloak.
26. Okay. James, give me let me check your inventory real quick.
Most of my stuff is in the bag of holding, so...
I know. I don't remember off the top of my head what your items were, because I didn't look at this ahead of time.
I have to mark a couple items as not being on me now that I think, because I'm not carrying like the Grump sword. Fix that.
Hopefully
Yeah, I
not
haven't
either.
marked what's on my person or in the ship.
You have not. So I'm just going to assume the stuff on the cart is on the cart. We're just going to go with the rest being on your person.
That'll work, because I haven't
Um,
updated that listing of my stuff in a while.
James, as you kind of pat yourself down, not only is the ass cloak gone, about 30 gold pieces and your water skin are also gone.
Damn,
Oh,
bro.
I'm not worried about that. I'm surprised they got the gold pieces, because it's all in the bag of coining, but, you know...
That's a real question right there. Rolaman, you feel none of your stuff managed to be grabbed as you managed to grab hold of your coin purse and your kamas, which you feel a light hand kind of graze across it and then dissipate, or like let go immediately as it felt resistance. Cinder, you see as a couple kids seem to, as they're running past, their hands seem to go, like, stop near, they seem to kind of, like, look at you for a minute as one of the kids tries to grab, takes a second, pauses as you see one of them grab the arm, and then they just keep running, and you hear from the lightest moment as they run past, "Don't trust the ones that wear all the plants. They have things that bite in their pockets."
I'm just gonna simply say, kids, you're not gonna like what's in that bag.
No, James, what's wrong with you? You just got rid of it.
Also, you're the one. You realize too late you got robbed. Be honest, the nat one.
Yeah, you don't realize
Yeah,
you're
definitely. Once we get inside, it's like, oh, okay.
As you
I look to Cinder. The ass cloak is gone.
Good.
looking down, and James, having a second sense, feels his, like, coin purse and goes, "It's 30 coins lighter."
God fucking
That's impressive that you could recognize only 30 coins are gone.
It's
as-
a merchant sense. I'm gonna hire that pickpocket eventually. Trust me.
As you kind of look about the shop, it is what looks to be almost like a plant shop. Long purple, red, green, very exotic looking plants kind of hanging on many of the shelves. Vials of different liquids that seem to have little skulls and crossbones and warning labels pretty much in every language that says do not drink what's on the shelf and do not touch plants. What looks to be on the far side, a large, almost log with mushrooms kind of growing out of it, kind of seems to be served as a almost a desk for the courtier, kind of standing behind it. What you see as a large half-breed, what looks to be about 50 feet tall and just about nearly as wide, massive stone giant who's just almost as towering and impressive as Reganutham himself. In fact, actually, I think he is taller than Reganutham by about 30 feet. As he looks over at you lot coming in, a couple of the other customers kind of walking about, looking at potions, kind of ignoring you all. As the courier behind the desk kind of sees you, begins to walk over, and immediately begins to shrink himself down to around Rollman's height as he takes every step closer.
Wow, what a nice guy. After the kids ran by and stuff, I put my weapons in my ring of arming.
Okay.
So they're not on my person.
Got you. As they suck into your ring immediately, vanishing from your side. The merchant kind of walks over, looking at you lot, and goes, "Oh, apologies, my name is Niall. Some people call me the Giant. I run the Frostfire Gem and Magical Ingredients. Welcome to the shop. I see you're not giants. Unfortunate. What can I do to get you out of my shop?"
Looking for poison antidotes, specifically for Hydra.
Hydra poison? Oh god, I don't keep that stuff often. There's not many people willing enough to try to fight a Hydra. What's the occasion? I mean, besides the obvious, you're gonna fight a Hydra. How many heads? What do I need to know about it? Maybe I've got some information for you I can give you.
Seems like to be a normal one. 10 heads.
Oh, you're talking about Ring Eater. Yeah, he got out a few years ago. Well, rather, he got up here a few years ago. Yeah. I think I've got some anti-venom of his somewhere around here. I had one of my young apprentices milk him. Not in the way you're thinking, like as in his the fangs of the creature. You wait till it sleeps, you take a bottle, you shove its fang onto it, and you basically let it leak into it, and boom, you've got, anti-venom.
Mm-hmm. Your apprentice found it while sleeping?
Oh, yeah. We used to do it all the time when it was younger. It was a lot easier to deal with back then.
Ah. I see.
Yes, feed it a little bit of the root, and boom, it's out cold like no other.
What root is this?
Oh, I've got, the root. So we call it... He kind of thinks for a second and goes, I don't know how to say it in common. Do you speak Giant?
I do. I'll say in Giant.
He smiles at you and goes, perfect! It's called Black Lotus Root, he says in Giant.
Black Lotus Root. Okay.
You
sell it, perhaps?
Oh yeah, you mix it with a little oil of Taggart, and boom, it'll knock your grandfather to sleep. Shoot, I watched it put a mountain giant out cold once. I mean, my grandfather used to drink the stuff for fun.
Impressive.
I know. Man was an idiot. It killed him in the end. But yeah, no, I have some. It's about, I don't know, 5,000 to 6,000 GP per vial. I can give you about 8 ounces per vial. I've got probably, I don't know, maybe 6 of them left. We had a group come through, buy about 10 of them earlier.
What group was that, might I ask? I'll just hand him like 20 gold pieces.
Okay, looks at the gold, taking it, kind of smiles and goes, a group of stone giants that came through said that they were going on a mining expedition nearby. Some veins of supposed orichalcum. I believe that. The day they find orichalcum in the ground is the day that, the gods are going to be walking down here and giving me a big old smooch and telling me I'm the divine. He kind of gives a light chuckle and goes...
I follow on with the chuckle.
He kind of smiles and goes, yeah, no, but I'll be honest with you, they're probably dead by now. The anti-venom helps, but it's the problem with the sheer bite of the creature. It's like taking on a crocodile. You're not going to shove your hand into one and then bathe it in anti-venom and think that's going to help. I mean, it's still chomping your arm off.
Of course.
Dumb bastards.
I'd be interested in purchasing a couple of those and the anti-venom. How much was that?
Oh, the anti-venom it's the same thing. Or you want the sleeping mixture and the anti-venom?
Yeah. Doesn't hurt to be too safe.
Anti-venom's about 10 grand a vial. Cheapest way to sell it. Stuff works for about 8 hours though, thankfully. You just down it and it works pre-ahead, kind of like drinking oil before you suck the poison out of a wound to make it so your mouth doesn't get infected. Basically, you drink the stuff so your body's already ready. It'll give you a minor bit of fatigue, but it'll make sure your ass don't get venomized.
How many vials of that do you got? Venomized.
I think I can pull together 5, maybe 6 if I'm lucky. Some of it's a little expired, so I can't promise it's gonna be perfectly effective, but it'll keep you alive. We haven't been able to get down there and get any more of the material, so.
Hmm. Well, I'd be willing to purchase both those products. Since you admitted that some of it might be expired, could we do 7,000 for the poison for each vial?
Sure, I'm fine with that as he holds out his hand. That's more
Okay,
than
so
fair.
5 vials of poison, and how many of the Black Lotus do you want?
That's up to you. You're making this purchase.
Just for your own knowledge.
Those were like 5,000, correct?
10.
For the
Or no,
Black Lotus.
7,000, sorry. That's what I quoted it at.
That was the new price for the poison.
Give me a minute, let me see what I've got. No, so it's
10,000.
yeah, it was 10K for the vial of poison the poison mixture of the black lotus root and the oil, and then it is it was 7,000 flat. No, sorry, I quoted you 6,000 flat for the venom. My apologies. So I said 5 to 6,000. So it is my apologies. So it is 6K.
Okay, 5 of those, and then we'll do 2 the Black Lotus.
He nods and goes, "Sure. I mean, you're gonna take down a Hydra. Shoot. Good luck with it." He kind of looks at the vials as he begins to pull them out from the shelves and starts kind of collecting them off. He goes, "You want it in one big bottle, or you want this stuff all separated out?"
Separate it out, please.
"Good man. Makes sense." He goes,
Don't want to pollute it in case one of them's bad.
"Alright, so," and he counts them out, kind of setting them out, and goes, "With that, a little bit of gold." He goes, "Alright, I think I can do this." And he kind of like looks at you, waiting to see how much gold you're going to sell on the table.
So that's what it is. It was 10K for the Black Lotus. So that should be.
So 7 down, yeah.
55K.
55, so.
Or sorry, no, 50.
And let's see, 2 times. That should be no. It's 40. It's 44K roughly is what you're paying, given what the price is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 44,000 gold. Because it's 14,000 in total for the 2 vials of Black Lotus root and oil of Taggart mixed together, and then it is 6,000
30.
for each of the vials, which is 30K. So it's 44K.
Yep.
How much are you setting on the table?
I'll put down 44K.
Yeah, set it down. He kind of looks at you and a little bit more of a frown and goes, "All right, take your vials, enjoy your day, and hopefully the Hydra don't eat you."
That's the plan. Pleasure doing business.
He nods and he looks over at the other two and goes, "Either of you need anything?"
Only if you have potions of healing on hand.
"What do I look like? A person who doesn't stock up on any kind of potion? Of course I keep all kinds of potions of healing." You snowbeards are supposed to be intelligent traders. What? As far as it goes, yes, I do. What are you looking for?
Let me pull up potions of healing. Potions of moderate healing would be probably the best to go with in this instance.
Potions of moderate healing. He looks at you and just kind of smiles and goes, "I'll tell you what, 30 grand a piece just for you."
I'm getting upcharged. I know this.
Dude, you're getting upcharged by like probably 100 times. Yeah.
Looks at you and goes, "You want it? You don't? You can give me. You can try and haggle and try for a diplomacy or bluff, depending on what you want to haggle it for or how you
I'll
haggle it."
diplomacy it.
All right, what are you gonna say?
That's pretty steep for moderate, given that it's not up to serious. Diplomacy. This will be fun because I'm not assuming he's not outright hostile.
He is.
But I don't want to win.
He doesn't
Oh,
like
okay,
you.
fucking great.
He is technically hostile to
fun.
you, Rollman, and Cinder. Not to
The
Ice
non-giant.
though.
31.
31. Nice work. As you kind of say this, and what are you haggling down to? What was it?
I was gonna say down to 15. How's half that in general?
Make it 17,000 per, and you got yourself a deal.
I can do that for 2 of them.
He nods and pulls out what is a two 30-ounce vials of what looks to be this thick potion of moderate cure wounds. As he sets them down, they almost like these are the super-sized big chugs. He just
Guys, I
kind of
got
puts
chug
them
jugs
up
of potion. Who's ready?
and goes, "Now, these things are about as big as you. May I ask how you plan to carry them?"
I have a wagon outside.
You're gonna take a wagon down into... Alright. You're deaf. If you ever change your mind, I have a bandolier that I can sell you. It's about 100,000 gold pieces for it, but it'll shrink down any potion vial you put on it to your size.
Sense motive.
Give me a sense of what are you trying to gather?
How much bullshit is he? How much bullshit is it really worth that much? And does he really have this? I'm not sure because the racism tax was really high.
Mm-hmm. As a DM, you know, one of my favorite things to hear
Nat
is
20
nice.
for 27. Okay.
As you kind of take a second looking on the wall, he does seem to have these, as you look over, some magical bandoliers that are kind of set. For those who don't know what bandoliers are, they're just basically belts with little, like, sometimes leather straps and such you can put bullets in, knives in, depending on the bandolier. But basically, it's just a strip of leather that goes across your chest for those at home. As you look over, he does seem to have some that are made of a blackened leather and seem to have enchanted runes or magical runes kind of entwined into them. Kind of looking at for a moment, it doesn't take you much to recognize the reduce spell, given how often you cast enlarge on Roloman. Kind of noticing that he kind of looks over at you. As far as the bullshit, for cost, he is charging you a massive overton for what this item is actually worth. You're pretty sure you could make this yourself if you just knew the spell and had Craft Wonders item.
Which I know the spell reduce. I do believe.
So I can make.
Yeah.
So I can make.
This is not like a complex item by any means. This is a very simple item. It's just it's not often that you're going to see items like this off in the market because it's not common people will need these items.
I'll just look at James and just shake my head.
I think I'll be fine without it.
Don't worry,
Good
Roland. I don't think James is gonna go fight the Hydra tonight, given all his good rolls are gone. As you say that, he kind of nods and goes, "Well, if you change your mind, young merchant, let me know. Tell your friend over there, the one looking at my plants, not to touch the hibiscus. I know it sounds like it's nothing but the spice or the plant. Trust me, it's not. That thing is poisonous and has been known to eat. It seems to eat Snowbeard specifically." As he watches the thing trying to bite at Cinder's finger every few seconds.
Poison me and Cinder does not care.
Cinder, you feel as it bites, your finger goes numb for a moment, and it seems to the poison immediately dissipates as you regain feeling in your finger.
As I'll set down, and I'll actually tip him a
Don't tip the man. What the fuck?
At this
Don't
point.
tip, asshole.
You're
No,
crazy.
That's racist.
That'll make.
Shush. Shush.
You should know this. This will insult him heavily if you give him a tip right now. James should know that as a person.
It's his decision if he'd like to tip. He can choose to. He's seen all this.
Oh, for sure.
Well, he gave good information at this point, too.
It's up to you.
I won't go with that. I'll tip him 50 though, at least. It's something.
50 gold pieces, okay.
Yeah.
Just kind of like slide over an extra 50 GP, kind of looks at you as you take the potions and kind of grabbing them, one in each hand as you begin to walk over towards Cinder. You hear a bit of grumbling from the merchant as you hear something along the lines of cheapskate, whispered in giant as he goes back to tending his mushrooms.
During their deal, was there patrons looking at us like, oh my god, they just spent over $100,000 or gold?
God damn you, Roland, then you know me well already. Give me a search check or a sense motive, I'll take either. Search will tell you if eyes are on you, sense motive will tell you if anybody's specifically like focusing on you.
I'll do sense motive.
Yeah, no problem.
12.
Looking about, there It does not seem to be any figures particularly paying attention, more than more than when you guys came in. Given the armor that James is wearing, James hasn't exactly not drawn attention to himself.
I'm shiny, damn it.
Yeah, he's shiny and looks like he's well equipped, unlike you, who's just
boy.
dressed like a normal nobleman. Yeah, given that, yeah, everything is everyone's kind of eyeing James, but with your sense motive, you don't sense any shift in the hostility in the room. None of them seem to be looking to move against James, from what you can tell. But many of the roguish-like figures do seem to be looking and making kind of almost like they look like they're kind of noting him. Similar to when you see a captain or a commander on the battlefield, you're wanting to kill that's on the enemy side because you want to gain that glory. You're seeing a similar kind of almost the eyes of glory kind of in their thing, or rather eyes of money as you look around. But none seem to make any movement or do anything that kind of catches you as like hostile in any way.
Okie dokie. I'll head out of the shop.
Okay. Cinder and James, are you following after Rollman, or
Yeah.
I will after giving the poisonous plant.
you gonna what, Cinder?
I'll follow after giving the poisonous plant one more like pet.
Good plant.
Oh, well, and what was that, Roman? I'm sorry, I didn't catch
I'm
that.
not going out alone. I'm just
Okay.
going out.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, as the three of you head out, kind of as as Cinder lightly pats the top of the head of the flower or the plant as it bites him one more time, watching as his hand kind of lightly turns a greenish color and then goes back to normal. As the three of you head out, Snow kind of staring at the plant and seems to like scratch at the floor, shoving up dirt towards it as the four of you walk out. As you head out into the main streets again, many of the people kind of walking about the city seems to be very much alive and bustling about around this mid-afternoon.
All right, James, you probably got a target on your head now from rogues in the immediate surroundings, not just because you're bounty. So, you have any way to
Good to
cover up
know.
your armor, potentially? Or
No.
If not, we'll just have to keep a closer eye out.
Rollerman, I have no way to cover up my armor currently. It seems like I'm going to get upcharged by over 100%, by at least 100% for anything I try to purchase here. So, I'm not going to buy any magic items.
As James looks back, slightly giving a bit of a glare at the shop.
I mean, I got definitely my money's worth once it got down to to that. But,
Give me a profession merchant, James.
or at least closer to my money's worth.
I mean, assuming that this potion
17.
is not like the same quality as like a single vial, and that's a lot of vials of potion potentially.
James, you're pretty sure you didn't get gypped, but you definitely feel you didn't come out of that in the best of situation. It definitely felt like the racism tax, as you put it, was a little too significant. It seems there's something that it doesn't seem that makes sense as you kind of think about it, given the warm welcome you've had so far.
Got a grudge.
Either that man didn't like anyone but giants,
Understand
or
that.
something fishy's going on.
Was there only giants in there besides us?
Other than the children, yes, the children that ran out, yeah.
Let's say, flashback. Oh, you're not giants. What can I do to get you to leave quickly?
Yep, he did kind of say that.
Is a quote he said the moment we walked in.
Extra
I don't like
racist.
that.
Don't go back in.
I will also
God.
say, to James Rolleman and Cinder's perspective, if you didn't catch this, his huge size gives you a quick perspective. Rolleman, were you there for the Mountain Giant fight? I think you were there. Yeah, okay. I couldn't remember if you were there for that the crossover or not. But yes, given that, what you guys saw, seeing this creature and looking back, it's pretty clear Nyal, as he introduced himself, is probably half Mountain Giant.
He said his dad was a mountain giant.
Yeah, he said his grandfather was. Catching that, James, given the giant's pride and perspective, it's almost weird that an individual would look down on you when you're not a giant. It's not like you did anything to the giant culture. Given the whole the situation, it just doesn't seem right that you got so overcharged. 1,000 to 10,000, sure. 100% charge up, something's not... That's not just normal racism, as you kind of think about it. There's something behind
Advanced
that.
racism.
Yes.
It's
It's racism It's racism 200 in college.
It's racism squared.
Oh god.
What I was saying, with those potions, you could probably like proportion it out
Oh.
into smaller vials.
That's the plan.
Okay. You did have to get back to the ship after we get your gold.
Because I don't think any of us can drink one of these in one gulp.
I can give it my best try.
Is that a challenge?
I think you'll vomit.
I say, Cinder, as you say that, kind of smelling it, you can smell the strong scent of lemon custard coming from the potion
Oh.
vial. It has the same scent as the veggies that you guys were eating earlier. Cinder in his head thinking, if you
gotta
drink
drink
it
it all
all,
and
you
then-
may
and
become
then-
immortal.
You gotta drink it all and then put it over the top of your head.
It's
a
true.
deep cut.
It's part of the rules. It's full, you know.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go buy your gold.
I might. Well, let's see if we can find somewhere that isn't going to charge me that much.
Cinder, do you know anything about poisons?
I just stare at him.
Genuine
No.
question. Okay.
Not a poison maker. I'm an alchemist.
That's close though, right?
No.
Can you take a look
Not
at
as
these?
close
See
as
if
you'd
any of them are
hope.
expired.
I want for feel. My bonus that I have for ranks in will go to negative because you get a -4 when trying to do poison stuff with alchemy.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes,
Oh, that's why.
because poison making is its own skill. It's a fully separate.
It's also why you guys have only ran into, like, I think 2 poison makers in the entirety of your mini city adventure so far.
I would have a higher roll with poison making, which I have no ranks in, than alchemy when it comes to poison.
Yep.
Anyway, do you want to check and see if they're bad? More qualified than me.
Just
You would have a higher roll than him with no ranks in craft poison making.
Is it intelligence?
Craft checks are all intelligence, yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Sure, I'll check it myself then.
Okay. As you kind of look at Cinder, who's just kind of just staring at you, almost slightly blankly, as he tries to figure out all the poison knowledge he actually has, that he knows it's official, not like, oh, don't poke this plant because it makes you numb.
a lot in my head of I am not a poison druid.
Thinking back to that one class you missed, and you're kind of regretting that you slipped there or you decided to skip it.
I'm a fucking winter druid. I'm kind of the opposite, to be honest.
I freeze the poison out of people.
But yeah, give me an intelligence check, see what you got. And you're just checking the Black Lotus root and oil of Taggett mix to see if it's legitimate.
And the poison stuff to
the venom.
to see if it's expired or not, because it mentioned it could potentially be.
Okay, gotcha. Let's see what you go.
16. Not bad.
16. So to note, the 2 vials of Black Lotus root and oil of Taggett are legitimate. It is a mix of a 3d6 con poison that, when ingested, has a DC of 20. And basically, if you fail, you immediately take the con damage. Then it continues on the next round, taking a 3d6 con every round afterwards until it is basically cured. This also has a secondary effect that you also have to make at the end of every round a save to not fall unconscious for the mix of the poison. So it not only knocks you unconscious, but makes your con vanish.
I think in 3 rounds, if it fails, it would kill the Hydra.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe I don't use the poison.
And then the 5 vials of poison, specifically, which is the anti-venom mixture that you guys had bought. 3 of the 5 are fully within working. The 4th seems to be somewhat close to somewhat too close to the expiration, and the last one is completely expired. However, as you kind of look at them, you do notice they both still lightly sizzle and have some strange effect which you're unsure of.
I'm not bringing those, but we'll keep them.
You shouldn't.
We got 3 good ones.
I will also note with that roll, you're not supposed to drink the vial outright, immediately, because remember, it was noted that it will give you an exhaustion
slight
effect.
fatigue,
So you don't want that fatigue immediately. So keeping that in mind. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. I want to make sure that was covered. Yeah. I don't want you.
I'm not down in it right now. It'll be later when we meet up with them, sort of thing.
Gotcha. Okay. But yeah, as you look at the poisons kind of shaking them in the vial as you look about them, coming to this realization as James kind of looks about. James, give me a search check real quick. Because I assume you're just looking for a shop where you can buy gold.
Buy metals and whatnot, yeah.
Okay. As Roman kind of looks at this, taking a moment to look it over, Cinder kind of looking back at the plants for a moment, thinking about the poison versus winter druid thing. James, as you kind of glance around, across the street, you do notice there is a smithy that you can clearly see a large stone giant seemingly working at the front of, smacking an anvil that is slightly glowing with what looks to be a heavy piece of metal in between their tongs. But beyond that, yeah, that's the only place that kind of catches your attention immediately as you look around.
How in depth does he seem to be into his work? Is what I'd ask. Because if he's heavily focused, it'd be better to not.
I mean, you see customers going in and out, walking about. The smith seems to just be going about their hammer. If you come over asking questions and they seem to look up, answer, and then seem to go back to what they're doing. I will note their body, very muscular, being about 22 feet tall. And roughly about 9,000 pounds. They also seem to have what looks to be large bear tattoos pretty much everywhere on them that you recognize as bear's endurance.
So they have strength boosters. That's good to know.
But beyond that, that's pretty much all you managed to get as Rollman finishes up looking at the venom.
I'll be right back. Looks like I might be able to purchase the gold right over here.
Alright. No, just after doing that, keep an eye out for rogues
Okay.
being stabbed.
Give me a spot check, Rollman, to make sure.
Search.
Sure, I'll take a search. And Cinder, are you following James over while Rollman kind of watches?
Dude, I'd rather be over here. If a fight starts, I'm better at a range.
No, fair. Standing next to Cinder as standing next. Yeah, you start standing next to yourself.
Okay.
Out of body experience, next level.
As you start standing next to Rollman, kind of looking about, as Rollman seems to kind of keep his eyes peeled, watching a couple of the locals passing by, James passing by each of you, making sure none of them are trying to pickpocket you. Are you just gonna stand there, Cinder? Or is there anything in particular you want to look for, or are you just gonna kind of watch James in the background?
I'll make sure nothing happens to James. I'll keep an eye on him.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. If you want to roll a search check for me in the background as well.
Oh no, I want to do spot. Wait.
Okay, if you want to do spot, I'll take spot. Just keeping in mind DC's shift.
Yeah, well, it's a plus 14 to a plus 4.
That's understandable. No, yeah, I got you.
It's kind of a world of difference.
Okay. As you kind of watch on, looking at James as he heads over, keeping your eyes peeled, Rollman kind of watching for rogues. As you kind of make your way through the busy street across, heading over to the large and open smithy, massive overhanging roof where the clouds of smoke kind of seem to billow against and push out to the sides of going around. The inside of the building looks like it has a few customers kind of wandering about, but the smith who's standing out here working in their forge keeps working away, hammering at the item they're working at until you walk over, kind of looking up as you do.
Hello, good sir. Do you happen to sell bars of gold by the ingot, actually?
Sir? Who the fuck you calling sir? My name is Gertrude, you little bastard! You not know the basic concept of stone giant? I'm a beauty? I won a ball last month. I even was taken to the dance by Bun himself. Who the fuck do you think you are, short stuff?
My apologies.
I don't want your apologies. I don't want you to be around me. You smell like soot. You look like a fucking damn toe. And you're about as scary as one. Now what the hell are you gonna be looking for in this store?
Gold ingots, please.
Why the fuck should I sell you gold ingots? You just called me a man. She glares at you, hammer still in hand, slightly glowing on the side of it. Cinder, you can see the negotiations aren't going well.
Negotiations are breaking down.
So you can see James look a little pale and concerned.
I repeat. Abort.
I have to hold on. I have to think of something to save this.
There's no saving.
Cinder's trying to keep a straight face, not trying to laugh.
Cinder's watching a show, man. This is my new drama cable.
I'm smiling.
Rollman thinking back, man, I've made that mistake when I was young. I get it. Stone giants, man. It's hard to tell from behind. You never know.
Oh yeah.
It is my first time in the territory. I couldn't tell from behind. In front, I can see you are a grand beauty.
Sweetheart, you don't have enough balls between your legs to pull that off. You've already insulted me. You called me a man, and now you're trying to sweet-talk me like you're my lover. I'm gonna be honest, unless you're trying to propose to me, you're going about this all wrong. So how about we start over with just introducing yourself and making clear what you're looking for?
That would be good.
Good.
My name is James. I am looking for gold.
Alright, James, who's looking for gold? Now, are the two individuals that have been eye-fucking me the entire time from across the way your friends? As she looks over
I have
towards
not
Cinder
looked
and
at her
Rollerman.
once.
I looked at her briefly, and I'm just looking at James being flustered.
They are my compatriots, yes.
I tell the short one I like him crazy. He's welcome to come over anytime.
Oh.
As she gives a wink and a kiss to blows a kiss over towards Cinder. Cinder, give me a sense mode to see if you can tell if it's towards you or if you think it's towards Rollerman.
I'm not great at that.
I know you are.
That's the point.
I'm not awful at it. It's just because of wisdom, but
Am I aware it's just Cinder?
Yes, very clearly given your experience, Rollerman.
16. I'll take it.
Hey.
Cinder, it's hard to tell. It could be for you, it could be for Rollerman, it could be for the guy behind you. You're not 100% sure, but you know it's towards your direction is all you've managed to gather.
She fancies you there, Cinder.
Now, but I see her looking in our direction for a moment,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
I just give like a bow of my head, like a greeting.
As Cinder does this, she looks back, Roman kind of nudging and saying that to Cinder. The Gertrude looks back over to James and goes, "Oh, I think he likes me. You know what, sweetheart? I'll tell you what. You set me up with the short drink of water right there. I love 'em magical and crazy. And I'll give you half price on anything in my shop."
I can try to arrange that and have
We'll
him
take
come
one
over
for-
and talk.
She smiles.
He's becoming me.
And goes, "All right. You said gold? All right, sweetheart. Let me see what I got here. I got some gold statues of Bun's wife. I've got some gold statues of Greg's martyrdom, fully accurate to his personal appendages.
Oh, God.
I have...
I shudder at the mention of Greg's martyrdom. Fully accurate.
I've got a naked statue of Regan Utham that most people is a one of a kind. Not many people have seen it that I keep around. Otherwise, I just got some raw and processed gold sitting in the back, but most of it's used for that enchanting shit that those the wizard fellas from Dragon's Crown come down to buy from us.
I'll buy the unprocessed.
I got
Although I
like
think I know a few people that would actually pay well for that statue too.
a statue will cost you about 400,000 gold pieces at least, because I'll be honest, that's just the bare minimum I'm gonna let that thing go for. I mean, it's got a one of a
look at her.
kind.
I look at her. No, I'll make sure to send them your way. You deserve that sale.
And lightly strokes your chin at that, seemingly smiling at that, and goes, "You know, I do. That'd be a good way to celebrate taking out that sweetie over there." She kind of gives a wink over towards Cinder once more.
If I get this shit for free.
And nods and goes, "Alright, for the gold, I mean, 70 pounds of unprocessed raw gold ore, about another 200-300 pounds roughly of processed stuff sitting in the back. I'll give it to you, let's say, round 10 grand.
I can take that. That'll be great.
She nods and goes, "Fine. Take the 10, if you can, alright, you want to set your gold right over there." She points towards what looks to be a simple table that looks to have nothing that catches your attention, but something seems kind of almost innately magic about it as you feel a strange aura, or light magical aura coming off of it. And she goes, "Once you do, the gold will be in your possession. I hope you're prepared to hold it."
Oh.
I smile. It'll be heavy, but I can get it to the wagon.
He nods.
As I will wave over to them to bring the wagon over.
Okie dokie.
I'll like start walking the wagon with the animal over, as it's probably my job.
As I will
Yeah.
actually set down 12,000, giving her 2,000 tip.
As soon as you
Because-
do, it disappears into the desk, falling into it, and as you look in, you just see a black hole into nothingness as your
Oh.
coin purse vanishes.
The coin purse with the money in it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Not all my money.
the stuff you're sitting on it. Yeah, specifically.
I was about to go. Did I just get robbed?
No. And immediately, as soon as it disappears, chunks of gold bars just start shooting out of it onto the ground and around you, surrounding you like a small brick house that starts to go around. As she kind of starts cackling and laughing, as Cinder and Rollman make their way over with the wagon, she kind of looks over as they walk over and smiles and goes. Looking over at Cinder, goes, "Now aren't you just the sweetest little thing helping out your little friend here?" She gives a toothy grin, surprisingly white teeth, though a few of them are placed with gemstones.
I'll start loading the gold and go, oh,
You know?
Cinder, dear uncle, she's a fan of your kind, and a fan of you, it seems.
I don't have fans. Last time a dragon claimed I was their fan, I had to cut their head off.
She's in the background. She smiles and winks and like waves at you,
I
coyly.
think that's what she wants. Whispering to Cinder. Go get her, Tiger.
Go,
I just
Roman
looked
lightly
at
tapping you on the
conversation with
back. Go
I would
ahead.
say, I look closely at James, like helping with the gold, and I'm like, what the hell did you do?
She would like a conversation, possibly a date with you.
Hey, sweetie, walk that sweetness over here. Keep working it for me. As she seems to be staring at you, Cinder, completely just looking you up and down. You feel like you're being eyed like a piece of meat.
Why not? Why not? I'll go over.
She gives a wink as you start to walk over and smiles and goes, "Now, I hear that you're one of them crazy types. My name's Gertrude. Allow me to introduce myself."
Cinder?
"Oh, you definitely make my heart come about," she smiles.
You know, everyone keeps calling me crazy. I'm not sure why. As the curse, kind of twitches. On its own.
She kind of looks down and smiles once more and goes, "Trust me, it's a good thing around here. Well, what can I do for you, though, in this my fine establishment of Carmon's Anvil?"
I'm always looking for weird things. Actually, I'm curious. You seem like you deal with rare materials.
She kind of
Beautiful woman, really good.
eyes you up and down at that and smiles.
I was wondering if you ever seen anything like this, as I'll pull out the blue ice chunk. I've been looking for where to find it for years.
She kind of whistles as you are looking at it and goes, "Not much you see blue ice around these parts. Only places I've seen it are most of the explorations have been done into the Underdark. Some storm giants claim to have it. I've heard there's rumors of it in plentifulness in the Dark Continent, but beyond that, the only thing I know of it is the material seems to focus wherever there's a lot of magic and a lot of druidic abilities. Typically, groves tend to have this stuff near them. I don't know why, but I think from what I recall reading about it, something about their nature, blessings, and the gods that they serve, basically giving them a bountiful harvest and making sure their lands are protected. Beyond that, don't know much else about it."
You know, finally learning where the fuck to find this stuff. I think Sir, for the first time in a long time, actually smiles. Whereas he usually just, like, flat faces everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
We've done it. We've found him a wife.
James, like, nudging Rollman as they put the last of the gold away.
Well, that's what this was. Wait, you don't want to marry? Is that what you're saying?
None of this was
you just sold
gold.
Cinder
This
for
was all a
marriage?
setup. This was
All right.
This was none of this was for gold. James came in earlier to town and set up the entire thing.
Totally in his downtime. Mm-hmm.
No one would be that open about rare material. What can I do for you?
Take me out to a night of dancing. Let me show you what this city really has to offer you.
I mean, I have a quest tonight, but I'll be free a few days after.
There's a ball at the end of the week that the king of this castle is offering. She kind of using the word king very loosely, as you kind of catch. Not A common term that's used generally as someone who's like a lord of a castle is more of the actual term in common. However, in giant, it seems to refer to someone who is kind of like almost in charge of a nation. Seems to be the depiction, which
So,
catches your attention.
I'm curious, right? Out again question. I guess
Yep.
it's Cinder. So most Giant Kings are called Regan, but they haven't written another thing. I know Bun does not have the title.
Correct.
Would his nickname be more of his title, or does he have a thing he goes by?
Bun goes by his nickname. His father is still recognized as the, and his father still stylizes himself as king of the Stone Giants,
So
using
it
the
would be
draconic term.
It would be respectful to call Bun. I think he's called the Bright-Eyed.
Yes, I believe so. Let me pull it up.
I already am. Don't worry. I just had this up.
Yes, it is the Bright-Eyed
Yeah.
of Grunaga. Yes, correct.
So if I met him, I'd call him Lord Bright-Eye, or like just the Bright-Eyed.
You could also
and that
call
would be-
him Regan. It depends on, from your own perspective, it would depend on his how his personality. That could be depicted as an insult because
Well-
it'd be like saying like making fun of the fact that he's not in charge, or it could be recognizing
but-
the honor.
I was avoiding Regan because I know from his open entry that he hates all the other Regans.
True. Well, he hates most of the other leaders. Yeah.
Well, because it's written thing he hates anyone related to Ogarin and Endrick, which is all of them.
Yes, correct.
So that's why I was avoiding Regan, because I figured that's probably like the worst kind of insult, since they're all Regans.
I mean, as you kind of think about stating to call him the same title as those that he is against would be probably almost considered an insult. But again, being you're an outsider race, it could also be taken as more of a sign of respect. It depends on, again, the context at that time.
You know, I'd be happy to take you to the ball.
She smiles
Yeah.
at that and goes, "Perfect. And of course, you can bring your friends. I have a couple of sisters that would love to have some dates to take."
I'll nod to that.
Gertrude smiles and goes, "Feel free to come back to my shop in a few at the end of the week. If you make it here before it gets dark out, I'll take you up myself and we can all head up together." She gives it a warm smile.
I assume we finished putting in the gold. At this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give a last bow and say I'll see you at the end of the week.
She
And,
smiles.
I would kiss the back of her hand, but I'm very short.
Yes, and she is 22 feet tall, which makes her quite tall for a stone giant.
That's a lot of woman.
That's a very tall stone giant.
You know what?
You gonna kiss her
Walk
feet?
up her.
What?
No, I'm not.
What? That's a new statement and a half.
Absolutely not.
Which one?
I use Ice Column to be tall enough to reach her hand at least.
As
Oh,
you
that's
do, she
romantic.
seems to smile as she gives you her hand, and as you go to kiss it, she seems to almost flutter the bright red in her cheeks as she falls back, passing out. You hear a loud hit as her body slams against the anvil behind her.
The ice will vanish. Does she look fine? I'm gonna check real quick. She all right?
Give me a heal check real quick.
She broke her neck. She's dead.
Take an additional +3 to this.
That'd be fucking crazy if she just died to that.
Right?
Hey man,
let's
if
see.
you're tall,
Oh, yeah,
falling
good.
was not good.
Let's see. I didn't know I had ranks in heal. 30 with his +3.
Okay. As you kind of look her up and down, I mean, she's got a bit of a bruise. Beyond that, no, she looks to be fine. She looks like she just fell unconscious from too much. As you look at her face, it looks like her face become too flush, too much blood running to her brain too quickly.
Odd. Never seen that before. And once I make
Wow.
sure she's all right, like walk off to the others.
Wow, Cinder, impressive.
Just a
What do you
slow, just a
A slow clap.
Slow clap.
yeah, good slow clap for him.
What do you mean?
You're natural.
I've seen
That's-
Roland flirt enough. You are very good.
I was just using the old noble act. What?
But when you
Your
did
uncle,
the
that
ice
noble act
flare-
changed very heavily, but from when you went missing.
Maybe the memory's a little jumbled. Doesn't really matter.
Okay. Well, should we head back to the ship to deposit this?
Yeah,
Out the
and-
potions.
I think that'd be best.
All right. And you guys head back out towards out of the city. Sorry, Cinder, were you gonna say something?
No.
Okay. As you guys head out back outside of the city, pushing through, keeping your eyes out for rogues and any other individuals, a little bit goes by, and as you guys get closer to the gates, Rollman, with your earlier search check, you do notice one of these small children seems to run by and drop off a bag of holding into your the back of your cart as they seem to run off quickly. Taking a quick look,
Do they look disturbed?
yes, they look, and they seem to also be holding their plugging their nose, pinching their nose rather, as they seem to set it down and then run away.
Angela, if you don't distract, you're never losing this thing.
I don't care at this point. It's anti-theft.
You see, Roman, as you lock eyes for a moment with the kid just gives you a look of just wrongness. Like, he looks at you like you guys are, something's wrong with you individually. A little bit of fear, a little bit of disgust in his eyes as he turns and runs away.
Give him a wink, and hopefully it spreads that we are unrobbable, or shouldn't, anyway.
Yeah, problem, Cameron. Anti-theft, yes. Bad thing that's going to spread with rumors that you like carrying things that smell like absolute literal shit, also yes.
Yeah, it gets too sad.
But I can explain that rumor away either as, oh, that's my anti-theft device. Would you like to see it?
Oh, God. But as you guys continue heading through the city, finally getting to the gate and heading out towards the ship, it's still parked there as you manage to get up the ramp, kind of getting the wagon over and in. The Frost Giants kind of going about their job as they do. Some of your more known crew kind of continuing the business, the day-to-day as they work about, but as the ship gets above, the rough bloods can begin to grab the items off of it and begin to take it down to storage, unloading it and putting away materials.
All right. James, you want to dilute the potions into vials?
I'll go separate those out into some of the vials that we have.
Okay.
I have big gulps. How many vials can I fill with from the big gulps?
In total, you can make 15 vials per big gulp.
We will have 30 vials of cure moderate wounds.
Yippee.
When diluted. I will say, for your own knowledge, James, without a check, you can tell these health potions are a lot stronger than what would normally be provided. As you kind of take a second, these do actually have a caster level to them.
All right. What do they heal? I will make a note of it for us.
Give me a moment to pull up my listing here for this, and then roll for it. I have to make sure. We're about to find out if James just got something interesting. Oh, damn it, almost. James, these are... What's the max on this to make sure I'm not over my max? Oh, okay,
10.
Cool. These are 2d8 plus 8. For your own knowledge.
I will also hand James one of the good antidotes.
Okay. As you kind of begin to split off, handing that to him, as he as he heads down below to begin pouring water and moving and diluting the potions around to the different vials. As you kind of head down to join him in the kitchen, Rollman. Rollman, as you you give these to James, having him James, are you diluting the poison or the venom or anti-venom rather?
I'm handing it to him. So
Do I need to?
No,
you don't need to.
Not
Yeah, no, then I'm not. I'll just...
Okay, got you.
So you have it for when we drink him.
Okay.
I'll just pop it into where I can get to it when I need it. And then I will hand Rollman 10 of the potions.
Okay.
You were not going to give the other party any of these?
I'm giving you 10 because there's a high chance you're going to get attacked a lot, Rollman.
Oh, okay.
Also, really quickly, I will open up show him how to open up his little hilt hold.
Oh, and his new full blade? Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll put one in there.
Stow one of the vials in there.
Okay. Yeah, as you kind of push on what the ruby, on the handle, a side or a hatch kind of pops off. The handle, showing you that the handle is hollow. As you kind of shove a vial into it, re-pushing the piece of wood back into place, it seems to seal back up almost immediately.
Now that's going to launch out into an open hand or onto whatever you point that at. Be careful.
Okie. Thanks, Dad.
As I will come up and I will hand
Cinder?
Cinder. Yeah, 5 of them as well.
Okay. As the two of you, or as you begin to split the potions up, and to plan, kind of thinking of what you want to do. Oh, go ahead, Roman. Sorry.
I'm just. I should
Gotcha.
be
No,
typing.
no worries. Got you. As you begin to dilute the potions, the gold being brought down below. Is there any last minute prep before you guys want to head off into the night and head back to the Mercenaries Guild?
Do we want to be disguised in some regard so that we're not followed and potentially ruining the plans and stuff?
I will. Well, we don't really have much to disguise ourselves with in this instance.
Nope.
So, but I will bring something. I'm gonna go grab one of the rocks of ooze.
Ooze rocks.
So he goes back up to his end of the captain's quarters. One of the rocks slightly floating on his desk on a what looks to be a little like pedestal charm that just allows items to be displayed. Grabbing it, bring it back down.
If worse comes to worse, I'm throwing this at it, and it'll bring it. From what we saw, they bring out oozes. So
We'll probably have to deal with it too if it doesn't get rid of it though.
they seem to attack the nearest thing. So if we have to throw it down as we run.
Okay. Okay, that's not a good emergency thing.
As James kind of stows it away into his bag of holding.
Again, I'm not going out there without some sense. I will also be bringing one of the wands of lightning because, at the very least, I can loan that to him.
Okay.
All right. I think we're set.
Easier to deal with an ooze than a Hydra, true. As the three of you begin to get your gear together, kind of getting everything ready to go, heading back into town to meet with the group, they begin to lay out their plans, and the four of you with the party of the Knights of Tempelos begin to head towards the Underdark, going into the depths to find the creature as they start to lead you towards the last known location of it. And with that, that's where we're going to end today, as we come back next time to the party, looking for the creature deep in the Underdark roads. Well, deep as in the first level and on the route that they're going. We thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time for the most important part, Cinder's date. Thank you all, and we'll see you then.
That'll be the